Yes, yes. Anybody out there? I know some folks should be out there. I'm gonna wait for some people to come in. I know this is a impromptu live. So we'll stop waiting for it to kick in like Shinobi. What's going on, folks? Everybody coming in? Come on in, come on in. Yes. Come on in, brothers. As you can see, I got it up for you already. I got some more. This is, I just wanted to make sure that my share screen worked because it wasn't working before, but it's now up, brothers. Yes, drama, Passport Brothers drama, Passport Bro drama. Brothers is out here causing all types of mayhem in these streets. Good afternoon. Peace to everybody coming in. Yes. Yes, it's alive. It's alive. So, folks is mad because, brothers is out there making it do what it do. Now, of course, I'm showing you Snow Bunny side of the game. Apparently, let's see. Apparently, a lot of brothers is moving heavy um, in this department. And so, it's your first live stream. What's going on? What's going on for your first live stream? What's up? Welcome to the party. So, what is this about? It's about the drama. Yeah, I wanted to get something out the way. I stated before in my one of my videos, brothers. I've stated before. Listen, I have no problem with any other group of men out there, but Passport Bros are a black man's um, social movement. It is a black man's social movement. Where I've been sitting back listening. You know, thanks for the 4.99. I've been watching what's going on. I've been just chilling, trying to figure out, all this drama, who's really behind, you know, a lot of things moving, going on in the background. Um, but what's been going on? I've been seeing a lot of this back and forth between the different groups of people. The sisters is hollering at the girls overseas, and Filipinas ain't having it. They're not going to be sitting back and allowing the Scraggle to talk cash shit and don't expect to, get some pushback. So, thanks for the $5. Yes, the Magosphere is in their fifis about men going and trying to be free. My brother, don't worry about it. You send me the pics when you get them. I know folks has been busy out there. Uh, yes, we have to figure out the next course of action. And what's been going on, brothers? What's been going on is you got to be careful. You got to be careful who you passport bros, who claim to be passport bros, who you allow to be in your midst, because you're going to get a lot of people that want to come and usurp your program, brothers. You're going to get a lot of folks out there that's going to want to usurp your program, and they're going to try to use it to benefit them and their agenda. And then when they're done, You're gonna, leave you by the wayside, and you will not have um, gotten your just dues in this whole on this whole endeavor. You're gonna be putting in the work. Trust me on this. You're gonna be the ones to be out here putting in the work. Let me go and see if I can add some more to the mix. But you're gonna be out here putting in some work, building this community out, and then these Johnny come lately is gonna come through, and you know what they're gonna do when they come through, right? They're gonna get their fill. I'm looking for some more photos, brothers, and then they're gonna skip out on you. But what's gonna happen, brothers, is you're gonna end up having to answer for all the drama that they created. And what I mean by that is, if they get in trouble overseas, guess who's gonna have to answer for that? You. You're gonna have to answer for that. Let me see what photos. Let me see if I can add some more. Why is it library? Memories. People, what's this? Places. Okay. Scraggle Daggles is everywhere, brothers. Scraggles is everywhere. Let's see. Let's see. So, brothers, so you got to be careful for that. You're going to get a lot of people that's going to want to usurp your shit. Trust me on that. You're going to get a lot of people that's going to come in and they're going to try to pirate your movement. Here we go. We got some more stuff coming in. There we go. And what you're going to do about it? What are you guys going to do about it? They're already making moves on you. White dudes are making moves on you. Hispanic dudes are making moves on you. They're making moves on your movement. They're calling themselves passport bros. And if one of them get in trouble, they're going to blame that shit on you. It's not for every race. You're right. It is not. It is for black men. You have to understand when you say passport bro, you're talking about black men. You're not talking about white dudes that call themselves bro. You're talking about black men. It's got to be that way. And the reason why it is because it was started by you guys, black men. Now, I say it was an offshoot of SYSBM. Others may disagree. But it was started by black men, and black men has been taking the heat from said Scraggle about passport bros. Number two, word of advice. You may want to stop going back and forth with these Scraggles. My word of advice. You don't really need to be going on live debates and arguing with a Scraggle Daggle. Why? Because all they're going to do is try to muddy up the waters. See, if they can get you to argue with them, then if they can get you to argue with them, let me see. What's going to happen is, it's just unnecessary drama. People from the outside looking in is like, I don't want to be involved in that mess. And that's what's going on, brothers. This is your mission right here. Your mission should be going worldwide and putting one in the oven, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 in the oven. That's what your mission should be. And a lot of cats out here don't understand is that the world is afraid of your DNA, brothers. The world is afraid of your DNA. Now, you do understand that the worldwide, childbirth rate is dropping. Yes, it is in Europe and in Asia. China has just fell to India and Korea. They're not, folks is not out here, putting in work. And they're gonna have to talk, in Japan, they're talking about immigration and bringing people in. So who do you think is they're going to be trying to bring in? A lot of the labor is going to be coming from Africa. A lot of them African brothers going to be showing up, and I know it's already happening in Japan. Especially, brothers got in through all types of doorways. One of the doorways they got into was the porno market and shit. I have to say it, not to be crass, but the porno market, they came through with the big bamboo, and they really created a whole fetish for themselves over there, a whole niche. And now they expanded beyond that, and now you got Malaysian Japanese all over the place over there. So a, a lot of that shit, black men can start to fill in, as you can see what this brother is doing right here. Brothers is filling in. Yeah, Black has changed the game, brothers. Black has made it legit. Um, one thing, what am I saying? One thing I want to also talk to you about is the same. They got a lot of dudes out here that are champion and are champion passport bros. They're speaking on passport bros' behalf. They are being the face of said movement known as the Passport Bros. Um, the thing about it is this. Let's see if I can get this copy. All right. Uh, a lot of these dudes, when you listen to them, they really are the rivers and the lakes that you're used to type of gentlemen. So what I'm meaning is this: these guys seem to they talk that whole passport bro this, passport bro that, but they want to limit a brother's choices by saying don't mess with them snow bunnies. I'm sure you heard of several gentlemen that have said that. Don't mess with them snow bunnies. Um, or they'll tell you you may want to go over here instead of going over there. They want to direct you to the continent of Africa or Jamaica or Haiti because they want you to get something from um, with African descent. So my thing is this: I have no problem if that's what you want to do. That's how you want to get down. But why are you telling brothers they need to uh, leave them? I guess them white girls for them white men, but yet them white men can still have the black woman and shit, right? Why is it the brother's hands always going to be tied behind his back for basically his sexual prowess? Why is it that a brother always gotta some even when you're champion whole brothers traveling overseas and getting into this movement and getting into that movement, you still got to put a caveat on it. You still got to put a restriction. I prefer you get yourself something with African descent, right? Why is it always got to be a caveat? Why can't a brother just be with who he wants to be? Why he's got to be clowned because he wants to get uh, something white in the game, or he wants to get a Asian white from East Asia. Maybe he doesn't want something from Southeast Asia. Maybe he wants to go to Japan because he likes some slim cheeks. Why does he have to have the bra's got to have the junk in the trunk? And my thing also on top of that is if you bring back Mfumfu from the continent, you bring her back to the States, right? Wouldn't Mfumfu be more inclined to relate to the BWs here in the States than someone, as you can see here in this photo? Because if Mfumfu is black and she comes across the sisters here in the States that are black, the sister's going to be like, oh, you're just like us. You black, we all black. And they're going to try to draw her in to this whole feminist men ain't shit type of lifestyle, right? But if you get something that is too far off the cultural course, let's say something from Japan, China, or Korea, right? You You have a buffer. You literally have a buffer. And what's that buffer? That buffer is that um, the BWs can't relate. The BWs can't relate. So it's going to be hard for them to try to convert uh, your your wife, your girlfriend from. Let's see, I'm trying to invite some people here. That's why I'm let off on it, brothers. For let's see. Oh, let me kill that. I try to convert her over to the whole feminist side of the situation. So this is. You write something. I am live. Let's talk about the passport bros. Black men, if you bring Mfumfum, this is what wasn't this the same thing that your boy Eddie Murphy said? Don't bring Mfumfu here in the States because the sisters are going to try to take and switch her over, and then you see what Eddie Murphy is currently, right? Because you have to deal with Mfumfu, brothers. I mean, it is a uh, real fight in the quest to control black men's sexuality. They want your ass gay, in jail, dead, or the down low, a thug, but they don't want you to be free. They don't want you to do what these brothers is doing. Oh, and they try to say, oh, well, a lot of them brothers are African. Well, if these African cats can do it, your African American cats can mop the floor all damn day. If these African cats can wife it up, so let me turn that down. Damn. If these African cats can wife it up, right? It should be easy for your ass. I mean, these brothers is out. The African brothers is out here. What's up? I sent you. What's up, MOT? I sent you a link if you want to join. It's in your email. Uh, if these brothers can make it happen, why can't you? That's just what I'm saying. And why limit yourself to? Why limit yourself to the continent of Africa, right? When you can go anywhere. I mean, if you want to go to the continent of Africa, you can. But they automatically assume if you go to Africa, you're going to wife up something from African descent, right? There's Asians in South Africa, right? There's there's Arabs, and there's all types of other groups of women on the continent of Africa, right? There's literally a YouTube channel that has an older black couple out there that professes black man, black woman, black child. They're an American couple that went overseas with their younger set of children, teenagers, and they brought some land in the Gambia, and they profess this Afrocentric shit, and their children, their daughter and their son, are in relations with, well, at least the last time I checked, with Lebanese expats. Why? Because they can't relate to the Gambians. So they have more in common with the other expats than they do with the local sub-Saharan African folks from the Gambia. Let's not also forget that a lot of ladies, a lot of American BWs go to Africa to settle down, and they end up failing and coming back home. Why? because they can't cut it on the continent. Why? There's a lot of drama behind a lot of that shit. So going to the continent of Africa may not be the first choice of your average brother, especially if they're going to have the same hangups and hiccups um, that other, American BWs have. Skin bleaching, hair extensions, all of that shit, that the drama that we're dealing with is starting to creep over there. So, brothers, why not do what these brothers are doing? Since the emphasis is on brothers is making moves like that, why not do what these brothers is doing? This is American bro, or at least he looks like brothers you can see here in the States. He's locking it down all day. Here goes another one. I mean, this is your threat right here. This is your threat right here. As you can see, I mean, hips to waist ratio. I mean, he's winning all day, right? And there goes your traditional European type. What's up, brother King Sigma Jones? What's going on?
What's going on, MBD?
Yeah, so what do you think about this? This whole drama with the passport bro, now how all this shit is coming about. What do you think it's leading? I guess.
I'm just watching it fly on the wall and whatnot. It's been told to me that Passport Bros is just a moniker, is just a group, and you know they pretty much do what they want to do. I'm all for it, but my only concern is not being trademarked and not being copyrighted, which means that it's easy for it to be infiltrated and people to come in and claim it and whatnot. So hey, um, if they're able to trademark it and kind of keep it off limits from most people, that'd be great. But if not, hey, you got to deal with the consequences that come with it.
Yes, I actually looked into the trademark on that. So somebody has put in for it. Um, my thing is that person isn't. I don't know if it's the guy that's overseas that's trying to, that lives in Thailand that's got the shirts and stuff that says passport bro. But whoever it is not managing it like it should be. It's not organized.
Hmm.
So it's like they're allowing. They don't have no organizational structure. So they have many different faces for this whole passport bro movement. And the thing about it is that it's too many people, right? So there's too many people speaking for it, and and they don't have no like real structure, like no tenants, I guess, that could say who's in and who's not. Because anybody could say they're a passport bro, go get me a passport. I'm a passport bro, right? So they could do
Right.
whatever they could do whatever they want in the name of passport bro, right? So you're getting all types of characters coming out talking all types of cash shit about being, you know, a passport bro, and it can move or it can ruin your brand because now you can get white boys saying they passport bros, you Latino dudes saying passport bros, all types of shit, um, and so now you're gonna have to answer for that. You're gonna have to answer for all of those different people out here um, making moves under your banner, under your name as passport bros. So yeah, that's what gets me. It's like I mean they need to get a organization to back that really fast. They need to lock that down.
Yeah. Agree. I mean, other than that, haters gonna hate and whatnot. I want to bring something up to you because I heard this from a pro blackity black, and it was an interesting statement that I don't think he really thought this through. So this dude is going around making an argument that when a black man gets with a non-black woman, that is dysgenics. However, when a black woman get with a non-black man, that is eugenics. And his argument is that the black woman giving her genes over to a non-black man is actually improving black folks' genetics.
I had somebody say something, tell me that, and I had to, uh, I had to tell him. Actually, I made a video about this. I think I put it up over at on Patreon. It was a while back. It was a
Mm,
coworker who said some shit like that, similar to it, and I had to explain to him, uh, "You stupid with that. That's kind of a dumb statement because I mean that means once again, um, the white guy will win, right?
right.
Because that means he will have access to your paint bucket, but you can't have access to her paint bucket, to his paint bucket, right? So you are are essentially saying that um, other people can come in and spill their DNA into your culture, and it's still black. But if you go out and spill your DNA as a black man to other group of women, they're not black or some shit. So it's basically still an Afrocentric shit, um, but it's a way to excuse not having to deal with the female going out and swirling or whatever it is, but always trying to keep the male in check. It's a female talking point. It's a female mind that he's arguing from. Yeah, he didn't think it through because of you think because the guy that was telling me before, he was telling me that anybody that's not black doesn't have a soul, right?
Mm,
Only person people that have souls are black people, right? And the person stated that I was like, how do you get a soul? He was like, well, the black woman, you have to be born by a black woman, and and, and that's the only reason why you that's how you would get a soul. If you were born by anything other than a black woman, that you wouldn't get a soul. So I'm like, okay, well that means, um, so all the black people, like all the black men are sleeping with white women, their kids have spirits, but they don't have a soul. So I was like, okay, well, that means if the white guy sleeps with the black woman, that means their kids come out and have a soul, right? See, so that means the white man can not only uh, wipe you off the face of the earth, he can replace you and then have his descendants gain a soul.
right.
But your black ass has no escape. That's how stupid this shit is if you think about it.
And not only that, think of it this way: if so-called if black women, you know, their genes are makes other people's genes better, surely you would see more of them be integrated into other cultures. But it's the opposite. Black men, especially the competent ones, are more integrated into other cultures.
Right. What's going on, MOT? What you think about this subject?
Um, what I think about the subject is with the Passport Bros itself, because I do content from time to time supporting the actual movement. I think that any male agency movement is something that people should support, regardless of whether they agree with it or not, because we were actually kind of cultured into the simple fact that we don't have choice, but they do for some reason. And most of the people, like most of the public personas within the movement itself, are just it's just people who just couldn't, for the most part, qualify for the SYSBMPs. That's all. It's just that most of these people, not the what do you call it? The Black Man Travels, not the No Excuse ENT. That's the guy who actually got the trademark request that you actually looked up. That's the person who has that. Others, it's a very small group. I mean, most of this passport bro stuff is nothing but like another way to of fighting a gender war. To be quite honest with you, that's what it has been infected with. You know, with the oncoming of one guy and everybody, just like how KS was a reason to go back and conversate with women, fighting with women online and telling them how much you don't want them, where you could just simply leave. It's it's just something that the younger generation is on. They want to go to war with these women. They're not trying to have the options for the options' sake. They still want to have the options and they still want to regain all of the time that they spent wanting this particular person that never really wanted them. I think it's a I think it's a problem. I don't really want those individuals over here, you know, around me because I don't need to fight this fight. You know, there's other fights that we have to be fighting in like real society and life, and we can't be sitting here trying to, razz women that we were not even trying to be with. So
Yes, I don't understand that shit either. I mean, why are you still, arguing with broads?
online,
Unless you,
yeah.
yes, online. I mean, I thought these chicks you don't want to be with, but they still, it's, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. I think what it is everybody's still trying to copy off of the old Tommy Sotomayor type of playbook, where it's talk cash shit about the BWs, but you still want to sleep with the BWs. So,
Yeah, but it just doesn't make it well for them. You have to understand that none of these dudes have an identity. They don't have an identity. They have to go from group to group to group until they get kicked out of the group or be told that they can't be here no more. And if it isn't plainly said that loudly, then you're dealing with individuals who really are going to do whatever they want to. I mean, you're dealing with a lot of sociopaths who don't care about the normal norms or anything. They're going to take anything that isn't legally tied down or guarded, like Fort Knox, and try to make it their own. They're going to try to flip it and make it their own. I mean, you really can't do that with SYSBM because it's an outcome based thing. But anything not tied down, these people are going to run in and they're going to destroy it every single time.
right. Yeah. Um, Somebody had mentioned that. Okay, first, thank you, SKC. You're out playing, frisbee with the kiddies. Thanks for coming through and listening. And then we got another brother down here who sent in $10. He's saying he's a therapist um, out in North Carolina, and in the movie Frustrated 3 with Al Greasy. And he would love, if you want to talk to me, just email me. Send
Yeah.
me an email, and there's some other brothers you might want to talk to too. One of them is on the show, MOT. You got Sigma Jones, but you know, SKC is all the other brothers you might want to talk to. But yeah, we're out here. So, uh, but yeah, my thing is these guys have all the options in the world right now. All the options. There is absolutely no excuse from here on out
They
for where
start off with the
you know.
answer key. They start off with
Right.
the answer key. I'm in my 40s. Like I left home when I was 17 years old. Went to Germany. That's when I knew. I had to go all the way to another country and be in a whole different setup before I knew. And if I never would have traded my Hickam Air Force Base in Hawaii for Germany, I'm not sure how any of this stuff would have came out. I just don't know how it would have came out, man. And just being that whole immersion thing is something that people just traveling can't get. I mean, I got it through the military, and it's a rare thing that you leave, a place like no investment like Mississippi, and then you end up in a place that's a socialist place where everything works. The only thing brothers want is to live in a equitable society where you don't have to risk your ass every time you're doing something. And I think even that chance everybody doesn't want. I just think a lot of these people want to go to a new society and run the same game that they seen here ran on other women in those new societies. And we got to be able to separate ourselves from those type of people who are actually acting that way.
Right. Yeah. There was a brother who was saying that he disagreed. He thinks he believes that decentralization of the passport bro movement makes it stronger. That is so, but the problem with that is you need have your decentralization, yes, but you need to have somebody that's going to be the steward of said movements. That's the go-to person for, and
Who
if
goes
that person's
online,
going
who does these interviews with different media organizations. You actually need that. I mean,
right,
decentralization is how the black community runs.
right.
Everybody shows up with their actual stuff, and it's like, okay, show me any movement where decentralization actually worked. I guess we can start there. I mean, because everybody wants to do their separate thing with the concept, and nobody wants to be a fundamentalist to the actual concept itself. I mean, can you imagine a decentralized military where people get to join whatever branch they wanted to and sign up for every job that they want to, regardless of background? Dude, you would have chaos on hand. But chaos is pretty normal to some people.
Yes, and I was saying that if you're going to have uh, you would need to have somebody, yeah, just like MLT said, it's got to be the go-to guy that can hold the line, what's official. So you can still have everybody doing their thing generally, but if somebody gets out of hand, you can always say that that person doesn't represent the organization.
Correct. And
Uh,
if you're decentralized, you don't have the right to even say or do any of that. That's the problem with decentralization. Decentralization means there's no command structure. There's no you can't really separate anybody who's a part of it because it's like, oh, I'm a passport bro now. And like most of the people, like the 5 or 6 that I know, they don't act like these culture warrior dudes who specifically want to go back and just in your face Keisha type nonsense. That's not
exactly. I
what's
don't I
going
don't
on, man.
understand that shit. Yes, why are you telling Keisha your plans and shit? Just go over there. You could start whole like Discord movements and shit like that. You could post your videos up, but why is you flashing the shit directly addressing the Scraggle? So so
See,
so that shit don't make no damn sense. Why are you directly addressing the Scraggle, telling the world how good it is you're over there in Thailand or you're over there in Philippines, and you bitch, you can't do see bitch, you can't cook, directly. The Scraggle, how diabolical the broad is, and you know how the broad is going to try to destroy not just you, but to destroy you, she'll destroy herself and her community just so she can have you shut up. And I don't understand why folks don't get that. But that's because you don't have no official organization.
well, see, another problem too with decentralization, when you have so many channels that want to say they're passport bros or whatnot, you don't have one leadership group or at least one member who can vouch and verify that yes, this individual or this such a channel, they are legit or they are with that. That's why, with SYSBM, if any channel that comes through and claims they're SYSBM, obviously that's going to trickle back to you, MBD, and you have the authority to authorize, yeah, they're part of SYSBM or no, they're not. So that's another big issue that I kind of see with the passport bros is, like you just said, you will have some individuals who will claim to be passport bros, but they're constantly talking with Keisha.
Constantly having
Right.
conversations with, constantly jumping on the panels and fist fighting with. I'm like, like, and it's like you see it. It's not a bad thing to have a comparison. Like SYSBM, there's a comparison. Passport Bros, there's a comparison. We all know whose stuff this is, right? And it's like it's still an outcome based thing. It's still the way you move type thing. And a lot of people just have decided that you know what, boys just want to have fun, man. That's what it is. We want to be just as disrespectful and out there like every other group of people. And it's like, dude, like no one needs your ill-conceived behavior as part of their group. It's nuts, man.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, these folks out here is wilding with it, and not only are they wilding with it, um, yeah, it's mindless. Um, and what these fellas are doing is they're setting themselves up to have to defend so many um, battlefronts that they don't have enough people to do so. And not only that is when the real pressure comes through, and when the real pressure shows up, that's going to be mainstream media. A lot of these dudes is going to buckle, and they're going to take the knee, and they're going to take the knee, and they're going to uh, come right back to the Scraggles talking points and shit. And and what they're going to find, and you're going to find out who's really for real, because a lot of these people who are talking passport bros don't probably haven't even left the country. So a lot of these
Not at all.
dudes, a lot of dudes are going to be the ones that are going to be wishing that they left the country, and they're going to be the ones who promoting and talking that shit, and that's going to be really embarrassing because you don't have nobody officially saying this is this and this is that. Um, so yeah, so the thing about another thing that I was going to say, what I was going to, yeah, I just lost my train of thought. But I was going to speak about other groups of men trying to usurp the movement, saying that they're passport bros themselves. Like I said before, you need to make sure that you make the world understand that a passport bro is a black man with a passport, not just a white guy calling himself bro. And so he can say he's a passport bro. Because, once again, they're going to shape and move the movement in the direction that they want it to move. And it may not necessarily be in your best interest. So, like I was also saying, too, just because you go to Africa doesn't mean that a brother that goes to Africa is going to scoop up a traditional sub-Saharan African woman.
I mean, you take
So,
her from that environment without the ability to socially isolate her. You're pretty much just handing her over as a win to the community. So
yes, but what I mentioned that because some people out there that are saying that they don't want to mention the white chick when you're talking about passport bro. So they're saying that they're suggesting brothers go and they find them something from sub-Saharan African descent outside of the states. Go get you a black woman from another country, and they're preaching that shit. But I mean, or go to Africa if you're a passport bro. But what I'm saying is, just because you go to Africa, don't expect that brother to come back with something of sub-Saharan African descent, because it might be a white chick that he finds over there, or an Asian chick he finds on the continent. Just because, again, it's Africa doesn't mean it's going to be black African. But folks, stuck on the skin color of the chick.
yeah, I can't help nobody in that area. You know.
So
because
go ahead.
Because they still have to please the people here at home with their decision making process. That's why I don't agree with it. That's why, look, if you want a different cultural outcome, this is what you do. If you don't want a different cultural outcome, you just want to, like a lighter skinned version of Keisha with less miles, then I don't know if anything is going to help you at all. Period. It's just that a lot of these people come into these movements with these wild ideas about pulling it into some sort of direction because they can't follow simple ass directions themselves. So just run into.
Yeah, that's what we're running into. So, what was I going to also say? This guy named Esteban. You got to connect your device, either your mic or something like that, if you want to get on, because it's showing you, but it's saying you're not connecting. Your device is not connected. Thanks for the support, Morpheus Tiberius, and also let's see what have any other thing you guys have seen like through this whole passport bro movement that you want to speak on? Ew.
Um, the guy who didn't have enough money to get back, type of thing, like that. You would never have somebody in SYSBM doing or even displaying themselves in such a manner and coming back to the States.
Okay, could you explain that to me? I heard something, but I couldn't find out who it was. What was that?
I heard about it. I don't want to actually go into the video because if I go in on the dude, I'm going to go in on this dude. But it's just that this individual went over, I think it was DR, and he got stuck over there and he tried to make it a whole everybody else's problem that he didn't have enough money to come back to the States.
Damn.
Yeah,
Damn.
that's
So
what it
yeah, so
was.
of course the sisters got a hold of that and they were clowning the whole passport bro movement with that, right?
Of course, this is what I mean about the discipline piece that people don't get. They're looking for a reason to complain about you. Not that you should care, but you should care about all the other individuals who are actually not doing anything like that. And you put everybody in kind of a rough place when you're actually doing something like that. And that's what I mean about the sociopathic nonsense of some of these people. They just don't get it. They're not trying to get it. They're not trying to understand how to move. Like most of this stuff is pretty much teaching somebody how to be a grown up and an adult at this point. Like you shouldn't be your ass shouldn't be leaving the country if you didn't have enough money to do things while you were over there.
Yeah, that's some stupid shit. That's some real stupid shit. Yo, King
Yeah.
Sigma, what's going on? Okay, somebody's doing some karate in the background, some video game going on. But yeah, so waiting for King Sigma to come through if he wants to. But like we were saying, that dude that was going overseas, they didn't have enough money. So apparently somebody was saying in the comment section that he was going over to the Trek.
What does that even mean? I don't get men who make that argument. I don't get them. It's like no matter what you're doing with a woman, it is transactional. So,
Right.
oh, they're going over there to trick. Like I've never, I don't. It's okay for a woman to obtain a man by any means or measure, and using their car to let some clown drive around in it. That's not called tricking, but everything always resorts back to tricking. I'm telling you, man, I'm waiting on somebody to say that to my face. I've never had it said in my life. It's always some standoffish stuff, but it's just like I don't understand people who have that type of thought pattern that they have to actually referee and police how you get to the actual ass. I don't get it.
Because it's a
It's
shame.
really
Yeah,
crazy.
they don't really give a shit. I mean, but it plays well. It plays well to the audience that they cater to. That because a lot of them are doing it themselves. A lot of these ladies are doing it themselves. It's so. I mean, him going over there to do that. I mean, if he was going over there for a couple of a week or so, then you would assume that's exactly what he was doing. Because I mean, he's not going over to stay. So unless unless he has something in the works for a long term relationship. Because most guys, if you're going to the Dominican Republic, I'm not just going there for a vacation. Just to relax in the sunset. If I'm a single man, I'm trying to tap that ass. But so it's a general shaming tactic if you're trying to say that this person is below. But I mean, it's just what they do. It's just what they do. I don't get it. But my thing is, all day, the brother's got it all day. You don't even have to leave the states. I mean, you don't even have to leave the states. I mean, because you're getting different flavors that are coming in all the time here, and are brothers can wife out here. Brother down in Australia, you're getting something down in Australia, and she's got she's got exactly what they're saying that they don't have. But folks out there just hating on the freedom. I mean, it's wide open for you guys. It's wide open for you. It makes no sense. It makes
But
no
most of
sense at
their
all.
actual happiness was based on the fact that you didn't have any choice. but to deal with them, and they
Right.
were going to control how happy you was going to be. That's something that's we have to be able to you know um, talk about, because it's a major thing to have your choices to be restricted, and that somebody gets happiness out of a restriction of choice. That doesn't make any sense to me, but it's been something that most people have been dependent on. Now, what I do like about the Passport Bros movement, more than anything else, is bringing out all the unfuckable women who benefit from a man not having choice. These women were the first ones to start complaining. They were the first ones out. And man, dude, they had the looks. Yeah, man, they had the looks that you should stay away from them, even under normal circumstances. And some of them were just so unaware of how they looked saying these things. I thought that was a pretty great thing. But you were supposed to leave them wanting. You wasn't supposed to go back and engage with them. You wasn't supposed to go troll them. You wasn't supposed to go do any of that stuff. And that's why you have all these fake leaders of a movement that they've given no content to over the years, that all of a sudden they just, just come through, and all of a sudden now they're just a voice of the movement for some reason. It's crazy.
Yo, what's up, King Sigma? Can you hear? What's going on? You come in, King Sigma. You out there?
Well, can you gentlemen hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we
hear
can
you.
now. Yeah, we can now. What's going on, man?
Okay, well, that's good that you can hear me. So I'll give it a try as long as I can. But thanks for sending the link. In regards to hashtag password, big difference. I pushed the hashtag password bros the time when the conversation was just black men talking to each other. And I think that, once Jonas and Austin Holloman pushed it to TikTok, that created an entirely different connotation. And so it's definitely more important that we understand the difference, because with hashtag Passport Bros, that whole thing was just all about encouraging black men to expand their options, encouraging them to think of themselves as global citizens, and to understand that if you had so many complaints about the domestic female, well, there's international foreign women in the tone of 4 billion women available to you if you're willing to take the steps necessary to put yourself in a situation to be able to live in foreign countries. Specifically, us being Americans, we have access to a lot of, Silicon Valley incubators, training programs for free from the states, from the city governments or whatnot, and taking that skill set that allows you to make income remotely and easily, being able to put yourself in a situation where you can assimilate, expatriate, have a dual citizenship in these countries, or even just work as an international corporate worker. That was the original intent of hashtag Passport Bros. But it's been turned into something that's being used as like a weapon against in this gender war, when that was never the intention at all. But that's something that happens when something goes viral. That, I came in when MOT was saying the thing about, if you don't nail it down, stand in front of it with a shotgun and get a team of lawyers behind you, this is what happens. So this is an unfortunate situation, because this, again, remember, the first go round was Passport Gate. Everyone on the panel was there, and many people on the chat were there. So all of this had already happened. But the difference was that this was just black men talking to other black men. And so now the hashtag just exploded over this last 3 or 4 months. And it's kind of, having these kind of conversations, I guess you can kind of bring it back to reality, but there's still going to be a level of it that's going to be just out there in the public space. So the best that the brothers that actually have the right intentions can do is to narrow the conversation back to what it was originally about.
Right. That's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to wrestle it back to what it was originally supposed to be. And they're going to have to wrestle it from all them other dudes that are coming out here on some fugazi shit. Because other than that, it's just going to keep running and running and running and running. And,
But it is surprising, though, to see. One of the great things about the hashtag Passport Bros has been that it really has shown black men themselves how deep the misandry really is against them. I've never, nothing I've seen since I've been in these social media spaces has been as powerful as just a black man saying, I'm going to go ahead and buy this blue book and I'm going to get these green right and I'm going to go somewhere else, to trigger even more so men who are trying to impress the women on the plantation. And that's why we call them plantation bros, going back to Passportgate. That's why it's so important that it gets looped back to that, because this was never about the women, the conversation. It's just that a certain group of individuals who had personal issues with women, specifically black women, they decided to try to anchor it to that part of the conversation. It was always about you getting your shit together as a man, like I just said, developing the kind of skill set that could put you in position.
I don't hear him.
I've always promoted remote work.
Okay, there you go.
Hello, can you hear me?
That's the kind that you can have.
Oh yeah, hold on a second. It's like somebody's going in and out there.
Can you hear me, brother MBD?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, I apologize, man. It's something going on with my mic and cam. I just wanted to say I concur and agree with everything that you're saying. I also want to say, first of all, it's good to be back with you. And I just wanted to say I completely agree with what with Brother Man of Tomorrow had said earlier about trying to patent, if you will, the phrase or moniker Passport Bros. I think that's very important. I think it needs to be known that it's started by us and for us. And if, correct me if I'm wrong, Man of Tomorrow, but you said you were in the Air Force, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
So was I.
Nice.
So yeah, been overseas quite a few times, and I think the narrative, and I don't mean to interrupt, but I'll just be brief.
Dropped out there. Esteban, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Again,
Okay,
Mike's acting funny.
You went muted. Hold on, you went muted. Let me see if I can unmute you. You there?
I'm here, sir.
Okay, you are.
I'm having some issues with my mic, so I'll go ahead and let you guys talk while I try and finish this.
Can you hear me
Okay?
out there? Everybody can hear me. So make sure folks can hear me out there.
Yeah, I heard everything that Esteban said. I heard everything.
Yeah, I'm gonna mute myself so I can try to fix. I'm gonna try to fix this. So you guys go ahead and finish talking.
All right, cool, man. All right.
I don't know. MOT, you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah. Everybody is. Something's wrong here. Let me see if I can unmute you guys here. I don't know what the hell going on. Where did the? Okay, let's see. Hold on, brothers. Hold on. Where did you go? We can hear all of you, but I can't hear any of them. MOT, say something.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, I can't hear them. Okay, let me see if it's coming through here.
Man, bus driver, can you hear me right now?
Oh,
Can
it
you
must
hear me
be my
right now?
headphone.
I can hear you, King Signal.
Okay.
I hear
I
you,
think
King.
it's MBD.
Okay, I'm gonna let you
Okay,
hold it
yeah, I
down,
think you
MOT,
I
for
think you might be
right now.
MBD.
So I'm gonna see if I can get myself linked back in. Hold on.
Okay, cool, man. Yeah, it's just at the end of the day, man. We just need to go back to the original intent. You know, you're always going to have. It's always going to be a battle between fundamentalists and the people who now want to take it in a new direction. It's like no other. Every organization has the same thing. You have the orthodoxy, and then you have people who want to go in another direction, because a lot of people seen getting your stuff together and leaving problematic people alone is too restrictive for some dumbass reason. And they
I like
wanted,
that you use that word. I like that you use that word, fundamentalism, because that's exactly what it is. That's
Yeah.
exactly what it is.
and a lot of people just don't understand that you make yourself look crazy when you go over the other groups of people having these level of conversations about the things that you left. Like that's the whole point of you leaving is to not bring it up again or not to keep re-engaging with a situation that you currently were in. Like I know a lot of these people were raised around some horrific sets and level of circumstances. I do have some empathy to those for those people to a specific point. But when you have to take it to the point to where you have to take things in a direction to where you have to now you got the hashtag, now you keep jumping up on panels in front of these people. Now you're taking it down another road that it just don't need to be taken down. And there's kind of really no way to police it because most people want to actually see that done. They want to see the fight between these two people, and I don't care about that for the most part.
All right, I'm back. I'm back. I'm back, and
I can hear you.
uh,
I can hear
okay,
you.
that's good. That's good.
I can hear you.
All right, all right. All right. So, let's see. My thing is this. Any advice to the passport bros?
No, it's just that, dude. Just move in silence. That's all you got to do. The dudes who want to be a social media superstar off of this particular problem, you let them do them. Like I don't go and track these people down or anything else, but a lot of people have stepped off kind of from it because of what it has turned into. And a lot of people have kind of supported these out of pocket people because that's what their original intent was in the first place. So I think that it's just going to be a readjustment period to where people who are out of line is going to coagulate with those people over there. And I say just let them do that, man. I don't think there's anything wrong with the movement. Like I said, we have a clientele problem. So you have to understand that before anything that happens, you're going to see people act a fool and do all this other stuff because we have a clientele problem. There is a real problem with these people out here, and they're going to pretty much keep showing that they haven't really learned any lesson at all, regardless of what group that they join. So,
You
Uh,
know, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I just want to bring up 2 quick points. Number one, I don't know if you guys saw this. The sister from the lady from the Philippines. Somebody had mentioned it in the comments a little while ago, but a lot of these Filipino women are clapping back big time because, of course, the Boonquishas are saying that they're just a bunch of dumb, uneducated rubes that are just getting tricked and nothing more than just prostitutes because the Philippines is just nothing but a poor rundown slum and blah blah blah. And a few of them are really clapping back, and I applaud those Filipinas over there for doing so because the Boonquishas are just really insulting and degrading them. And notice how they say that about the Philippines, and I don't know where the Philippines ranks as far as economic prosperity, but I guarantee you it's higher than 95% of the countries in Africa. Notice how the Boonquishas, if brothers go over to Africa, they notice how the Boonquishas don't say, well, you going over there getting a dumb, uneducated, she just wants your money, she gonna take you and leave you and all of that stuff. They only do it with non-black women.
yeah,
That's number
yeah,
one. Good.
yeah. But here's the problem with that. The whole point was to get women to actually argue with each other for the man that they actually want to be with. So I say, and I don't go track down this information, and I think it's a good thing because if they have this sort of level of conversation, because everything was meant to be one sided. Everything was meant to be one sided with them not having any sort of pushback for it. I think it's a great thing that these two individuals specifically are arguing with each other, fighting over the type of men that they actually, quote unquote, want to be with at the end of the day. I don't think that we should add to it. I don't think that we should do anything else, but just let the women do them. Let the women do
Okay.
them. Don't add to it. I wouldn't add to it.
Right. That's great, but you gotta understand. You gotta have one thing in the back of your mind. Some of these ladies from the Philippines that are speaking on the behalf of passport bros. some of them are in relations with white men, and what happens is some of these guys may catch get in their feelings, and then tell their girls to switch up against again passport bros. Because remember, a passport bro is a black man with a passport. So if you
Yes.
got a Filipino chick that has a white man, you don't know what that white man's been telling that Filipino chick behind closed doors. Because them guys, a lot of the dudes go overseas, they don't like competition. And they don't like competition, especially from brothers. So they may be
Yes.
saying some shit. So you need to be careful which types of chicks you guys use as your champions, I guess, or you recommend. Because what'll happen is the chick will switch up on you.
There was one of them who did that. That's a very good point, brother MBD. Um, there was somebody who did that.
Right. So you need to be careful with that shit. I only really into and when I'm looking at stuff like that, it'd be chicks that are in relations with black men. That's why
Yeah.
I collect the photos, whatever it is, to have the proof and shit. If I'm going to subscribe to that, it would be only with a Filipino or Thailand chick that's in a relationship with a brother. Because if she's in a relationship with a white dude, it's easy for them to switch up on you.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Right. So you gotta always have that in the back of your mind, because that's how you can get got. You got somebody that's been running with you, talking about how they down with you and all of that shit, and you big up them, and everybody rallies around that person, and then they switch up on you like damn near overnight. Oh, and you guys need to you brothers out here for this and that, and now you got to answer again for that situation. So if a brother's not busting a nut up in it, don't f with it. That's just basic simple shit. What's going on, GW?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Just doing good. I just got the what you call it late, got out and about, but doing good with this crazy, insane drama and pushback on the passport bros.
Yeah, so we just been going, wondering if the wise course of action was for these brothers to be going directly at the BWs, that they say they don't want, and also the fact that as a black man who purports themselves to be a passport bro, should you be allowing other groups of men from different cultures to take on that moniker, to take on that flag?
And
So what do you think about that?
And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why. You see, this is the problem with. I think me and you talked about this a long time ago when we was on G Plus at the time. Every time we get involved in adopting other members that's not from our, you know, group or diaspora, as they say, and they come around and shove us away like we a bunch of, you know, rejects from the orphanage. So I said this before, and I gotta give a shout out to this brother named Big Trucker and Reviews. I think that's his name. When he said, fellow YouTuber, when he said, "Hey, you know what? We keep our name Passport Bros, whereas you guys are Passport Joes. That's it. That's it." Um, Not saying that we should not have no allies. That there's nothing wrong having allies, but that marker that should be for black man and black man only. Everybody else just take a back seat. You know, I mean I don't get it. Like every time we coin the term for ourselves, everybody want to reap in the profits, and it's like a cash grab. But in reality, for us as men, it's not a cash grab. This is our culture. This is our lifestyle. This is people don't understand. This is a global economy, and globally, you gonna have to compete. There's no way around it. You can forget about that pseudo nationalistic pride. That went away the dodo bird. That was technically a 19th century model. And we've been hanging on it too long to the point that you're losing a lot of money. The brothers that you see here that MBD is showing everybody on the video, how much you want to bet these guys made money abroad? I wouldn't put it past you at a bare minimum of 90%. That's where a lot of us should be from this day forth. From this day forth, that's what we should be focusing on. And if we don't have allies that represent us to try to pursue that, then we need to focus in among ourselves as a collective. Because let me tell you something. The reason why you had these howling hyenas crying about why we left the BC is because, hey, we control 90% of that multi-trillion-dollar surplus, not them. You know, we control 90 to 95% of it. We have more power and financial control. So, of course, and I have to explain this again because everybody loves to bring the term BC or known as, the black community. A community is where you reside in. It does not pertain to your ethnic background. That's an old additive that came up with the Ellis Island movement from 1889 to 1942. That's an old jargon, nonsense. So it would behoove you people, I should say, to refrain from saying that term. Because a lot of us don't live in that so-called community. Majority of us don't even know what it really looked like.
Somebody's getting body slammed in the background.
So that's all I have to say about that. I'll let whoever have to speak. I'm just gonna mute myself.
Yeah, so my brother was saying earlier that he was out in the Philippines and he said the white dudes hate that shit, and he was destroying out there in the Philippines. Yes. Let's talk about the Philippines for a second. So, your boy, Dennis Rodman's father, right? Dennis Rodman's father moved out to the Philippines after he had his 3 kids. Dennis Rodman being one of them here in the States. For whatever reason, he decided to leave that BW. He hopped on a plane, was in the military, and he went over to the Philippines where he was stationed at. And he decided to walk away and start a whole new life out in the Philippines. And sure did start a whole new life out in the Philippines. This man went and got a gang of women pregnant out there. So not only does he have his 3 kids in the States, which Dennis Rodman was one of them, he had 26 more. Yeah, you saying over 30 children? From the news, it was saying he had like 29. So if you add the 3, Dennis Rodman and the 2 kids, he would have 26 back in the Philippines. But I'm sure it was a lot more than that before they found out about him because he made himself known. So as long as he stayed in silence, they would have never known he was out there in the Philippines making a move, do what it do. He opened up his own business out there. What's it called? Barack Obama something burgers. Obama Robin Burgers or some shit like that out there in the Philippines, where he had his own stand, his own restaurant. Him and his children was running. Them Filipino women loved that his black ass where he was just busting all types of nuts. And them Filipino women over there. So why do I say that? So I say that to say this. There's always a light side and there's a dark side. The light side says, go over there, be a respectable guy, get married, have yourself, a family and shit like that. The dark side says, if you're going to be slanging dang-a-lang, that's a great place to do it, right? If you're trying to have a bunch of children, why would you do that here in the States and be, bogged down with child support, jail, all that drama, where you can go overseas and do like Barack Obama's father, over 30 kids. So, those are options, brothers. If you wanted to be diabolical, or those are things that you need to think about. So a lot of you guys that are listening to this, a lot of you guys are on that type of time, right? And so if you're on that type of time, you need to, protect yourself the best way possible. And in these states is not where it's at, brothers. It's not here in these states anymore.
Nope.
Brother MBD, may I make one comment, please?
Go ahead.
I'm a person, to me, narrative matters. I'm a big believer in narrative / premise. And anytime somebody tries to come at me with something, I always try to question the narrative or the premise. And let me just say one thing. When it comes to this whole passport bros and brothers going overseas and what our motivations are and reasoning and all of that, first, let me say, white men have gone overseas knocking down everything on this planet. And I won't even use, actually, I won't even use colonialism. I'll use just the last 30, 40 years.
Right.
So I won't
100.
even go back to, I'll make a quick point. I won't even go back to colonial days. I'll just go back to the last 40 years. White men go here, there, and everywhere. But since we're mentioning the Far East, the Philippines, Thailand, and so on, it's been well known, well documented. White men going over there, not just to get with women, but a lot of time to get with young children, especially boys.
Correct.
Right.
And yet there's no vitriol
No pushback.
pointed towards them. We're at least going over there to try and meet, even if we were just going over there to knock women down. At least we're going over there to meet, number one, adults, and number two, women. Whereas, again, this has been well known for decades that a lot of white men go over there, not just for minors, but for minor boys.
Mhm.
And so
Look up
none of
the,
that, you never see any of them catch any of that vitriol. So I stand, and to me, that's not a whataboutism argument. It's not. Some people will try to say that it is, but to me, it's not, because one group is literally doing something that's, number one, A, sick and disgusting, but number two, again, you're not questioning his motives or reasonings or why he's deciding to do. It's the whole thing when it comes to Yo Mama Black. Remember, Eminem, the rapper Eminem, talked about his mother like a dog. Why?
correct.
Because she was a terrible mother and a terrible human being. And I don't recall white women out here saying, that's your mama white. You must hate your. So again, this is about controlling what a black man does, what he thinks, and what he says. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. The reason why I hate, and I mean HATE, 95% of Boonquishas is because they act like they own me. They think
Exactly.
that I should
Exactly.
think a certain way, speak a certain way, behave a certain way, vote a certain way, love who they think I should love.
But Escobar, you gotta realize that while they were, all you hearing them nowadays is wolfing. See, the problem with the Ushikas or Shaniquas, whatever they call themselves nowadays, they was expecting this quiet the storm of clapback coming from these foreign women. They was expecting that because for a long time they made them shut up by pulling their so-called ethnicity or nationality. Oh, you doing that to me because you can't say nothing because that would make you racist. No, no, they got tired of that, and not to mention brothers like myself gave them the green light to retire because of the simple fact that they getting tired of it. I mean, I've been going in and out of Philippines for decades. I can tell you, these women already had it up to here, up to their head, up to their temple with the BWs. They really had it. The recent situation that you're hearing from that lady, shout out to Joan Jay. Um, her argument was originally with one particular black female, and all of a sudden, that's one female that she had beef with. All of a sudden, she started making that Joan Jay was broader than all black women. It wasn't. And then Joan Jay even says, like, look, I wasn't trying to defend Passport Bros. I respect what they were doing because I didn't have no problem with it. But she's like, I saw how, brothers in the States getting treated like dog shit. How black women celebrating with black men getting murdered, calling them bullet bags. and they get a sexual excitement when they see police torture and maim and kill black men. That's really, really sets it. It was like the straw that broke the camel's back with these women. And now everybody internationally call these females hyenas. And now black women crying and whining like a yapping dog that got hit with a pebble inside a dark cave. Oh, why nobody ain't defending us? Well, why you going around calling these women dirty and poor and barefoot? Not knowing that the literacy rate in the Philippines, for example, is at 98 point, I think it's 98.70%, whereas the average literacy rate in women in the United States, did you know it's at 70%?
Hey, G Dub, there was a school, I want to say Baltimore, where over 54% of the kids could not read. They were in high school and
Correct.
they could not read past grade school level. You don't
Correct.
see that in the Philippines. In fact, I think it made national news, if I'm not mistaken.
No,
I
it
want
did.
to I want to say Baltimore, but I could be wrong on that. Somebody in the comment section can correct me. Where it was like almost 60% of their high school students ready to graduate could not read or do arithmetic beyond the fifth
I
grade
think,
level, and you had the Boone Quishas on television crying about it.
yeah, I think that was either at Baltimore. I know there was one in Baltimore, but the original article was in Florida, the entire state of Florida. And
Okay,
I
yeah,
think
I thought I could have sworn I heard Baltimore, but yeah, okay.
no. Baltimore was one of them, but I think Baltimore was the original. No, I'm sorry, the original store was in Florida, but they connected to from both. It's weird how they connected to from Maryland and majority of state of Florida, where the average reading level of these children, predominantly female kids, at 54%, and where they compare to across the pond like Taiwan, Vietnam, and Laos, the
Exactly. They got
average.
the nerve. They got the nerve to talk about these chicks in the Philippines and Taiwan.
Yeah, and the was it the literacy rate over there in the Philippines and Taiwan, and I know Laos is at 98.70%, almost 100%, folks. That's amazing. So when you hear people talk, first of all, they're not technically a third world; they're a developing world. It just they don't have a strong currency backing like the United States. Okay, have their GDP kind of match what United States and the EU and the other 7G summit countries are, then they'd be considered first world. Um,
You
every
know what's
place,
going to happen, right? You know what's
right?
going to happen. So now brothers is going to start moving out there and staying out there permanently.
Oh yes,
And so what you're seeing is, what you're seeing over there in Thailand with what's his name? Mac, forgot his name. From Zoom to Thailand, and then
yeah.
you got
Zoom
some
to
other
Thailand.
brothers out there, Black Ram going out there. So
Uh,
eventually, folks is going to be like, "Yo, I'm just going to stay."
mhm.
And there's some, brothers out there got their businesses. They open it up restaurants. They're going to open up barber shops. So there's going to be enough brothers out there. So if you want to cut hair, you can go out there and start cutting hair, and you can make a living and shit. I mean, there's going to be ways. Once enough, a good number of brothers get out there, that other support staff of brothers can come out and can support those black men out there, and they're just going to stay, and they're going to have a whole community where black men are staying out there, just going to stay out there permanently,
It's happening in
getting married.
Serbia right now.
Yeah,
It's happening
Serbia.
in Serbia, brother MBD. There's some brothers out in Serbia, not African, but American brothers, in Serbia and the country right next to it. Croatia.
Yugoslavia,
Croatia.
Croatia.
Well,
Yeah, Croatia.
Croatia, I think used to be a part of Yugoslavia, but it broke up.
Right.
But Croatia, yeah, they're doing it out there in Serbia. Brothers making video all the time, and yeah.
Yeah, so I just wanted to make a little quick statement here, because a lot of folks trying to say, brothers, you got there messing with them chicks that got them flat asses and shit. So some of them have flat asses or slim cheeks like this one,
Hold on a second.
and then the other one, there's some of them that got cheeks like this.
See,
So
hold on a second, Mr. MBD. I
Go
hate
ahead.
when the BW keeps saying that, because last time I checked, worldwide, Black American women in the United States ranked number one in BLLs, and they dying from it at a rate of 75% dying.
Not only that, they lead the world. They're the most obese. Black American women are the most. I don't care if she does have a flat ass. Black American, the Boonquishas have no room to talk. They have an 84. This is according to the CDC. Y'all can look it up for yourself.
Yes.
They have a rate of chronic obesity at 84%.
Yes.
That means chronic means literally from birth to however old they are 84% obese. And the problem is the reason why they don't look at it as obese is because they have tried, again, like I said, the reason why I hate them is because they have tried to force us, I mean,
Accept them like the
to
way they are.
accept the fatness. And now they got white liberals doing it, with Lizzo and all the other stuff. They managed to coon and mammy their way into getting the mainstream media into the quote unquote fat acceptance. So brother NBD, again, she could be an iron and board backside, as Ice Cube once said many years ago. I will take that over somebody that's shaped like the letter Q 10 times out of 10 times, twice on Sunday.
Listen, so we're not here for fat shaming, body shaming. So please, you can miss me with that. But what I'm saying is, for anybody that wants to hate on it, and what I'm saying is real simple. I mean, the BWs don't have they have lost the market on convincing folks that they're the only ones with the cheeks.
They've been lost that. They lost that decades ago, man.
Right.
Exactly. That's not been new that's been 30 plus.
Yeah.
So, but my thing is, so back to what I'm saying is, so you're saying that there's brothers out in Serbia that have a community and shit. What's the link to that? I would like to check out those videos.
Oh gosh, you had to ask. There's a brother out there. He does YouTube videos, and he's always
black in Serbia, something like that. So I just look up some black men in Serbia. Some shit.
Yeah, and he links up with another brother that's in Croatia, and I believe they're right next to each other, north south. They're in close proximity. I forget which is where they're at exactly on the map, but they're in close proximity to each other. It's almost like USA and Canada. And there's a few brothers out there that have already moved there, and they're just doing their thing, and they're living life and they're loving it.
Yeah, because you can get cheap property out there. I mean, you could buy something. Your money is long and strong out there in that part of the Europe. You said it keeps dropping you off, King Sigma. I don't know what's going on because I brought you up. Try again and see if I can bring you up again. But like I was saying, it's just wide open. I mean, this is your new face right here. This is your Kylie Jenner and shit. That your boy Travis Scott put 2 in the oven. But yeah. So a lot of sisters, you're not going to be able to compete with that.
Can I say one thing, brother? There was this brother on YouTube, and unfortunately he passed away 2 years ago from COVID, but his name was Lao Shu 5000. Okay. And this brother got notoriety because he was a black man that learned fluent Chinese. And from what I understand, there's like 6 different languages in China. It's not just all Chinese. There's Mandarin, there's Szechuan, there's Gongshu or something like that, Cantonese, and he spoke all of them. And matter of fact, I remember watching a rap video about him, but this brother went on to learn like 17 different languages.
Yes, he had a wife out there, right? Didn't he have
she was from Taiwan. She was from Taiwan.
Did he break up with her or something and got with a BW?
I heard that he was having some issues. I don't think he got with according to his brother when he passed away, I don't think he had a B-dub. But the bottom line is the brother went on to learn like 17 different languages. And So, and he would go into different international markets here in the States, meaning he didn't have to get a passport. And don't get me wrong, of course I'm pro passport, but he brought the passport to him because he was able to communicate. And man, the ladies' panties would just get wet when he would walk in there, being able to speak and converse with them.
Yes, I saw that
remember,
shit.
I remember one time he went into this store, and I want to say Hungarian store. I could be wrong on that, but anyways, it was some foreign Eastern European store, and the chick was literally ready to hop over the counter and just jump on him right then and there. So he was a passport bro without, and again, I can only imagine how many years it would take to learn one language, never mind 17. But what I'm saying is that there are different ways that do to where you can bring that international to us.
Yeah, you don't have to leave. You don't have to leave the States if you want to get something forward. It's just proximity and shit like that. But it helps out to be immersed in it. It helps out a lot. You don't have a lot of interference if you're in Taiwan. It's just so many Taiwanese ladies, that it makes it a lot easier for to move like that than here in the States. But yeah, I mean, I watch those videos too. I wonder if I went blank. Say something, somebody. Anybody like GW? Say something. Can you hear me, G-Dub? Oh, yeah, that's what I got. I have to leave and come back.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. All right, I'm back. I'm here. I know you was borging a little bit. I guess MBB. Hold on.
Hello. I can hear you, G-Dub. I can hear you, G-Dub.
Oh, okay.
I'm back. Yeah, sometimes it's something's, sometimes with these streams, that's what you get. Anyway, so yeah, I remember watching his videos back in the day. And
I would encourage brothers, if you can't get a passport or you don't want to, for whatever reason you can't travel. I mean, there's nothing wrong with learning another language because obviously, listen, America is the most immigrated country in the world combined, and it's not even close. Right. It's not even close. So. I mean, and again, don't get me wrong. I encourage brothers to get their passports, but they're also coming here. And I would say it does not hurt for brothers to start learning another language and being able to, because you're making them feel comfortable in their native tongue and their culture. I mean, it just, yeah.
Yes. So here goes a thick one from Asia too. So you can't say that they ain't thick like that. There goes one for you.
Go over Southeast Asia. That's all you're going to see.
Yeah, of course you're going to see.
All that so-called flat board and no bodies that you see, that's like in the third, fourth world area. Majority of the areas over that geographical Asian region don't look like that. They look like what this lady looks like, 24/7. And she's considered average, by the way, folks. That's considered average. You understand? That's considered like a 5 or a 6. Okay? So you can imagine what a 7, 8, and 9 and 10s look like.
Right. And that's your mission right here. If you go over there, that's your mission right there. Mm-hmm. Is to put one in the oven. So if you go over there, that's what you need to do. Anyways.
But MVP, what about the BC? What about the black community?
There ain't no damn community. There ain't no damn community. Just let that shit go.
Save the community. Save the community.
Yeah, there ain't none of that. That shit is dead and gone a long time ago. It's been dead and gone. But you see these people on the internet, they're trying to save it. They're trying to save it hard.
Krypton is dead, folks.
Charleston White's trying to save it. Charleston White out here, he's trying to save it.
Him, man, this dude,
Anton Daniels, them trying to save it. They all trying to save it. I mean, you're not, they're trying to warn you against the chick right here. Oh, she's even though they say the BWs. I mean, this is the thing that I don't get. They say the BWs are the worst enemy of black men on God's green earth, right?
Right.
Many people say this shit. What they say about the BWs is worse than the shit that we say, right? On their platform, right? But then they tell you, stay away from this one. Don't go there. because of what happened to Emmett Till, because of the system of supremacy, because it's the white man's chick, but the black female is supposed to be the white man's chick, but they're telling you to stay away from her. I mean, the shit doesn't make sense. So
Right.
if you're telling me if the BW is the worst thing since sliced bread, anything but the BW would be better, right? So
Right.
why, if you're saying that Shay Whitey runs the show, I would be smart to align myself with Shay Whitey through Shay Whitey's system, become part of the family and shit. That, and plus she's got
Thank
an ass too. Plus she's got an ass on top of that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Mhm.
I don't understand this shit. I really don't understand this shit. So it's really stupid. Because you listen to these guys, they say all that drama, and I'd be like, okay, yeah, I get that. But then I'm married to a BW. I got kids by him. Da 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 da. I know I say a lot of shit, but these white ladies. But I was like, yo, I mean, but there's nothing that you have said about them in any of your course of action that would have made them worse than what you said about the BWs. In fact, you stated, and some of these guys on their channels go through the history of what the BWs did, right? Back in the day of slavery and shit.
Yes.
How they sold black men into slavery, how they slept with the European colonizer, and they allied themselves with the European colonizer in
Having
Africa,
children.
and having his children, mixed children, all of that shit, and selling the African men, because it was mostly men overseas, and then say, but I tell my kids don't mess with them white girls. So
Not only that, brother MBD. I don't know if you were aware of this, but since you brought up slavery, we all know that the master would go and sleep with the slave woman. That there's no secret about that. And of course, when she would have his children, they got put in the house. But a lot of people fail to realize that the mistress, and she knew that the slave master was doing this. She knew that her husband was doing this. But every now and then, she would also go and do the same thing too.
Correct.
And when she got pregnant, they would kill that child. So they kept the child of the man, the white man. But if the white woman had a child, they would kill that child, especially if it was a boy.
You want me to give you? I'll do one better. You want to know what happened right after the Civil War, right? Now, a lot of people don't know this, and it's historic record. If you go, any of the former Confederacy states in the South. Well, to start the Reconstruction around 1866, I think was it technically from Abraham Lincoln died in April of 1865. So around, let's say, May of that year until 9 months after, sometime around March, maybe February of 1866, going on to the end of the Reconstruction period. A lot of people don't know this. A lot of the white Confederacy troops and white Northern troops, right, went AWOL. And from that period on, there were a mysterious baby boom from, let's say, roughly 1866 until 1878, the end of Reconstruction period. I would like to add on to 1886, the start of Jim Crow. But anyway, there were a birth rate of 650,000 children being sired by white gentlemen from both the North and South during that time frame. Now, a lot of people try to say that they were raped. They're like, no, they were not raped. These were
No, that's been proven to be a lie.
that's a proven being a lie. These troops went to these brothels, and you gotta remember there was no pimps at the time. So your pimp was a female man, and these black women were led by black men and being pimped out to sleep with these Union white soldiers that deserted, and these former Confederate soldiers that deserted after the war. So black men left rebuilding and erecting 200 to 300 cities within a 15 to almost 20-year period of the Reconstruction. but yet she had the nerve to tell you, as a man, do not go for the white. Don't fall for the white woman. She get you killed. No, actually, the chance of me being killed by a white woman or being arranged to be killed by a white woman is like less than 5% compared to you, where I have a 75% chance of being killed arranged by, you know, your hands, black woman.
In fact, Frederick Douglass's, I believe his second wife. I believe he was married 3 times, but I believe his second and third wife were white women.
Correct. His
Yes,
first,
And
yes,
and
they
I
were.
and I and I know he had children. I think the second woman, she got sick and
yeah, she
died.
died. Yeah, I think
But
she died from polio.
yeah, but I think he might have had at least one child with her, and I know
Yeah,
he had a child with his third wife, who was a white woman as well.
yeah, she
And
had 3 of his kids, and him, his two. If you go to, because I went to his grave, his burial site. He's buried next to his 2 wives and his kids. His first wife is not buried next to him, and he was with her for 40 years. She did not, at any circumstances, support his movement and support his cause. His kids from his first marriage did, but not his wife. This is why I try to tell you about loyalty from the BW of the so-called black community. It does not exist, black man. You need
and
to
and
get
that-
this, do that
and
through your thick skull.
there was the first mammy. If you guys remember the 1963-64 movie with Sidney Poitier called Guess Who's Coming to Dinner,
Correct.
and you see how, what was the woman's name who played Wheezy on the Jeffersons? She played the
Oh,
maid in that
man,
movie.
movie. Yeah, I know you talking
She
about.
played the
Oh
maid in that
man,
movie.
I forgot her name in real life,
And do,
but she.
and do you see how disrespectful she was to Sidney Poitier's character?
Oh yeah,
And Sidney Poitier was a doctor. He was a United Nations doctor or something like that
correct.
in the movie.
Hmm.
And it had Katharine Hepburn, and I believe Katharine Hepburn played the mother. And I want to say Jane Mansfield played the daughter.
Right.
Um, and Isabel Sanford. Thank you, KJ.
Yeah. All right. Isabel
Yeah,
Sanford. Yes.
Isabel Sanford.
Yeah.
And you know, just how she treated that character, and how just rude and disrespectful she
Well,
was to him.
she did to
And
them.
her parents showed Sidney Poitier more respect, meaning the white girl's parents showed Sidney Poitier, his character, more respect than the mammy did.
Correct.
I mean, she literally, before Django, I mean, she was literally the one saying, "What is that nigga doing in that 3-piece suit?
Right.
What is he doing taking the walking in the front door and not the back?" She might as well have said that. That might as well have been her dialogue.
Oh, what did that dude write on the man? How dare he write on the man? You understand what I'm saying? Like that because
It
that
wasn't
was
Jane
frowned upon.
Mansfield, but I can't remember her name. I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah, so brothers, what I'm trying to do is let's see. Let me make
Oh,
sure I
yeah.
can.
You're having
Uh,
first world problems. I see.
no. I'm Gucci. I'm Gucci. Yeah, there we
Okay.
are. I just wanted to remind y'all brothers to support. This
Oh
is the
yeah, that's
first
right. The
issue.
energy.
The
It's
first
like
issue, the energy. This is what they hate. This is
energy.
what your brothers is doing overseas.
Yeah.
They hate that shit. Get it? I'm working on part 2.
Dude,
And
There you go.
you
anybody's
gotta do
got
it. You gotta do an animation. You gotta do an actual
yes,
animation.
but we could do an animation, but we got to get it started, brothers. We got to
Yeah.
get it started. So what you see, the brothers is doing in the in the slideshow. This is what this brother's doing in the in the comic book. So
Respect to your innovation, and I mean, because I'm sure that takes time, and so you know, respect to the creativity and innovation, and yeah.
oh yeah, it does take time. This shit is it's it could be draining because you gotta you gotta think it through and figure out how to stop
Presentation,
screen.
the
Yeah, all
editorial
that shit.
work,
Yeah,
all that.
all of that shit.
Mhm.
All of that shit. See, now I'm just trying to, first world problems. First world problems. Let's see. So stop screen. I don't want to stop screen. Slides, extra screen, video file. No. Hold on a second. Yeah. So basically, what I'm saying, what's going on is, support. What we're doing, and another thing about it is this: don't let people shame you on your options, brothers. You got options. You do not have to settle for what these people want you to settle for. I mean, they're still complaining about Tiger Woods. They're still complaining about Tiger
Oh
Woods
my
because
God.
he's dealing with his
That was an OG move. What he did, by the way, that was an OG move. I don't care what anyone says. He told her, "Hey, pack for a light trip," and then,
He dumped him.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
she tried
but-
to sue him, and
Right.
he's not having it. He's not having
right,
it.
but people are saying that he still hasn't learned. He just loves these white women. Why can't he just learn? I'm like, come on, man. This man's mama's Asian. Why are we still? It's like it's stupid. It's some stupid ass shit. This man's mama's Asian. This is Tiger Woods' parents
NBD,
right
you gotta
here.
understand.
You see it?
NBD, you gotta understand. They want him to sire. These BWs want to be sired by him so they can have these kids with the good hair.
Yep.
That's what
Yep.
they want. I'm trying to tell you. They treat
Yep.
these mixed babies like dolls.
Right,
I've been
but
saying that for
I
like-
see a lot of dudes. But I see a lot of dudes who are trying to. Of course, they're doing it because
They
they're
pander.
doing it because they're pandering, of course. Rubber Band Man, I'm going to send you the link. There you go. Hop on in. There it is.
Well, here's the thing. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. And I've gone to many so-called interracial channels. I've always said it. The Boonquishas want to be the one who create the interracial people. They
Yes.
hate it because they hate us because we create most of the interracial people. That's just a fact.
Yeah,
That's
they
just
used to
a
be.
fact.
They used to be the
number
ones
one.
that create all the interracial people. Those were the interracial people from back 150 years ago.
Years ago.
Exactly.
Now,
Now
shit
it's
has
been us.
switched up.
No,
Right.
it's been mixed up since, believe it or not, since World War. I would like to say World War II.
Well, yeah, because a lot of Jamaica was I want to say the British used Jamaica as a depot for weapons or something to that effect.
Correct. Yes, because
And
my
a
father's
lot
from
of
there.
Jamaican brothers went over after the war. In fact, there's been a couple of good movies that have been made about that, where brothers, them Jamaican brothers going over to the UK. But that's basically what it is. When it comes to the whole interracial thing, they're just mad because they're not creating them and we are. Because remember now, Meghan Merkel is only black because she's married to a white man. If Meghan Merkel was married to Tyrese, they would be
Oh, no.
calling Tyrese a colorist.
Yep.
They'd be calling T'Challa a colorist. Yeah, she wiped up the Prince of Wakanda. She'll be a colorist.
Yeah,
He'll
man,
be
when
a colorist.
Tyrese married his second wife, when they gave him a hard time about that. Oh my God! And she was telling these dumb BWs like, "Yo, I'm more black than you are. How dare you tell me?"
Because of his phenotype.
Yeah.
Yo, what's up? What's up, Rubber Band Man? What's going on?
What's going on today, brothers? What's going on, man?
Rubber band,
What up,
man.
Rubber
What's good,
Band?
man?
What's up,
GW
man?
Extreme,
Rubber
baby.
band.
Hey, what's up, man?
Man,
Rubber
Bush,
band,
man, you
man.
been on fire, man, with the comic book, man. Been on fire, man. The comic book, man. It's good.
Thank you.
More
Hey, look.
hustle than hustle, man.
Hey, look, man. All I'm saying, man, the only I want to say this, man. Everything that we have talked about and called out is coming to pass. Everything is happening on schedule. You know what I'm saying? And right now, these bras are having I think I was watching on IG and I saw this dark skinned ABW, and she apparently the chick must have had a baby by Brad, because she was showing off that light skinned baby, talking about how pretty she was, and I'm like, good Lord. I mean,
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
so-
they love doing that. They love
yeah,
doing that.
man, I'm watching this stuff, dude, and I'm telling you, these bras having a meltdown over the passport, bro. They done started a global, a global problem. I mean, it made the local news and Thailand.
So the clapback?
Oh man, the
Hey,
clapback is real,
clapback-
dude.
Hey, rubber band, man. Rubber, could you imagine the hate a dark-skinned brother would get if he was big up in his biracial, light-skinned, pretty child.
You know what,
As a
man?
matter of fact, wasn't it the football player a couple of years ago? I forget. I want to say he played for the Rams.
No,
He
he
and
played for
another
the
brother
Chargers. He played for
played
the
for the
Chargers.
Chargers. Yeah, he was like, yeah, look at these biracial kids or light-skinned kids or biracial kids because they all had white wives and I can't remember who was that, but
he was joking. As he said, he was
Shout
at a
out
party
to-
joking. Yeah, he was
We
at
gotta
a
give a
party
shout out.
joking around.
We gotta give a shout out to
Oh, go
Joan
ahead.
Jay. Shout out
Yeah,
to
Big Joan in the house.
She's
Yeah,
right
what's
on
up,
the
Joan?
track.
Yeah, I saw her in the man. But see, Cub was joking around. You know, he was, trying to be a little comedy and stuff. But on these ABWs, I mean, I'm telling you, man, the next people they coming after is freaking SYSBM. That's next.
They only did that, but it was short lived.
Well, that was Courtney Michelle who tried that little movement to go after, but it's pretty much a wrap, man. I mean, they're losing on all fronts. I mean,
dude,
on all
when you
fronts.
got put it this way, when you got African women clapping back in East Africa, clapping back in defense of passport bros, that should tell you something. Like, wait a minute, you got women of the chocolate persuasion of the motherland, as they call it,
clapping
back. That should tell you something.
Hey, look, you know what? It's funny you say that, man, because I was listening to this chick from Ethiopia online, and she said she was just going like, "Yo, man," she said, "Some of y'all," she said, "y'all American black women, y'all too loose. You're too loose." She said, "That's why you losing control of your men." So
hey, would y'all mind letting Joan Jay up in here? I'll step down if y'all let Joan Jay up in here. I don't mind.
Where's he at?
She should be in the comment section.
She should be in the comment section, man.
She's here.
Yeah, because freaking Joan been going. Yeah, freaking Joan been going ham, man. I mean,
Joan Jay, step up if you want. Joan Jay.
So where for Joe? Okay, well, if you got Jones Jane's email, send him a link with the link to
the link.
We'll send her the link.
Yeah, send him the link.
Hey,
she's saying she can't. She's sick right now.
Okay.
So she just listened to all right, cool.
Hey, look, I'm telling you, man. Hey, they going hard, man. Hey, look, man. I saw this one skit that said "Bad Bus Driver," where these this Filipino Thai chick said, "No," she said, "No, today I'm not going to cut my hair and send it to you." I'm like, damn.
Oh my God.
I've got a question for you guys. I'm sure each and every one of you have heard of Just Pearls.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And right now, and I think she does a lot of good work and a lot of good material. And now the vultures are starting to they're trying to figure out a way. They're trying to figure out a way to get at her. One of them is they started a false rumor saying that she Me Too'd a guy. But of course that was proven to be false. That was proven to be false.
Well, you got to remember too, man. You know what I'm saying? They jealous of Joan. I mean, not Joan, but Just Pearly paid KS for a consultation. And I'm talking she actually kicked out money, and KS just destroyed her, but in a positive way. He said, "Look, the way you operate is garbage." Did he show her how to revamp her whole process? You know what I'm saying? And now she's number one.
Yeah, they've been trying that woman in just under a year. Just under a year. I mean, she's just exploded like a rocket ship, and she literally took with KS, and they hate her. They truly hate her.
Did you saw her
if you notice,
with her mom joined in from time to time, and and her mother breaks it down. That's where Just Pearly got everything from, because her mother taught her. So you would think that, hey, that's a rarity nowadays in the women of the U.S. For those that don't know, for example, Joan Jay, that used to be a thing, that femininity was a cultural norm until the advent of social media and gadgets like smartphones and smart tablets. Before that, women had to practice proper decorum. They couldn't go around and be loosey-goosey all the time.
Yeah, but you run the GW. You gotta remember, man. You know what I'm saying? The white community still is getting married at a 58% rate.
Nah,
58%.
no.
Is it down? Is it down or something?
It's been down for a long time. The
Oh,
divorce
yeah?
rate hit that community back in the 1970s and 80s, dude.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
The ones that are growing are immigrating from here, from
Oh,
overseas in Europe. Do not
okay. I
count
didn't
white
know that.
Americans. White American divorce rate is at 70%. The overall
What?
divorce, yes,
And
the overall divorce rate in the United States is 78%.
Yeah, because I listened on the Dennis
hold
Sperling.
on, G Dub.
Go ahead.
Hold on, G Dub. I don't know if you know this, but women initiate the initiators of the divorce is 70% of women initiate the divorce, and it actually jumps to 90 when the woman has a 4-year
Affair.
degree or higher.
Right.
No, it's funny because I listened to Dennis Sperling. He was calling out some numbers like it was still at 50 something. No, I don't know
No,
how
he's
old
looking
those
at
numbers.
old. Yeah, he's looking at older numbers. It's
Okay,
way
okay.
high. It's way high.
I know
It's
it.
way
Yeah,
high.
you
It's
know what
way
I'm saying?
high.
Okay, because I know with Pearly man, with Pearly man, no, but that's a lot of jealousy, man, because you hear it. I mean,
Exactly.
You know
you
the
Exactly.
hear
funny thing is, the funny thing with Pearly, she's
yeah.
only a 6,
Yes.
and yet they showing the inferiority complex. And
Yes.
imagine she's not red hair, blonde, blue eye, very curvaceous,
No,
and
ain't
very
got a black
attractive.
man. Ain't got a black
Right.
man.
Then they want to butcher her. Then she would have to be like Sister Shahar Ali to have a private bodyguard for the rest of her life. Because they ever since she came with that book, the Guide to Understand a Black Woman, read it before she does, back in I think it was in 1979.
Yeah.
And she did a TV interview of in 1989 where she broke it down that the out of wedlock birth rate in 1989 in the so-called black community by black women was at 60% in 1989.
Yes, that's
60.
75 now. It's at 75 now.
Yeah, it depends what age group, but the
But
point being is it doesn't matter. It just they keep sleeping with the archetype that they want, which is at the bottom 2%.
we'll
Okay.
see. Yeah, we'll see. The wild thing in GW is they like I was watching some videos from KS.
Mhm.
I've been going back watching some video here, and then you're right because they all say the same thing. Like, no, they want the 6'6". He makes 100K, and he got to be in the church, and he got to be all this and that. But
And be a
remember,
thug.
yeah, corporate and be a
Well,
thug.
let me give you statistics on
Go ahead.
the average person that makes 6 figures in the United States. Now, for those that don't know, in 2020 to 2023, there's about roughly 150 to 160 million people in the private work sector. We're not going to talk about the public work sector. People that work in state, federal, and county jobs. We're going to talk about people that work in the private sector, like corporations, Fortune 500. Out of that, guess what is the percentage of people that earn 6 figure income?
Let me guess, but what? 10%, 15?
No, it's less than 1/2 of 1%. So
Stop.
no, I'm not lying. I help you out with the numbers. Less than 1/2 of 1% of 160 billion people in the private workforce equivalent to 140,000. Think about it.
That's
140,000.
crazy. That's crazy.
So the odds of me and you getting like say 150 to $300,000 a year more is practically slim to none, unless we work in a state or federal or county job. You know what I'm saying?
And even most public jobs don't pay that much.
No, it
Hell,
takes
even
years.
public
You have,
jobs in Washington.
Yeah. I tell
right.
you, because I got family work for the federal government. I
Yeah,
mean,
and
friends,
you
it
have to
takes a
move
while.
up. Yeah,
Yeah, you got to
you
move
have to
up.
move up for like at least 10 straight years just to
Yeah,
see
yeah.
say 100K plus.
Look, I got a mentor. He makes close to 300K. He retired about 5 years ago. He dude then almost he was making 275, 280 when he retired, but it took him like almost 30 years to get there. He stayed for
And
30, and he didn't get that till he got to a director status.
now let me tell you something. In New York State, which is one of the hyperinflated states in the nation, New York State, you could earn 170 grand a year and still be forced to live and sleep in the backseat of your own car.
What?
Stop, man.
Yes. Yeah.
What? New York City?
No, just New York State in general. New York
New York
State, not
State.
just in the city, not just in the city, the whole state.
So, Tom, you telling me if you make almost over 100, you probably will be living in your back seat.
You be living in the backseat. If you
Damn.
want to be a
Damn.
homeowner, you better earn a minimum of 300 grand a year more if you want to be a homeowner.
So
That's
this is
crazy.
why.
Yeah,
This is why, if you might want to be looking at getting out of the country.
there you go.
This is why you might be want to look at getting out of the country. If you making 100 grand or more, I mean, and you can work from home or whatever it is. This getting overseas is where you want to be. That's what you want to do.
Hey,
'Cause,
man, yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, it's funny you say that, Mad Bus Driver, man, because it's like right now it's like the Bokishas and the Pookie and the Ray Ray, man, I'm talking about they up in arms that brothers are moving overseas. I mean, they up in arms over this.
Because
Like,
they
Yeah,
taking
because
that.
they your resources. They
Yeah,
figure
they
it's
taking the
their
money.
resources.
Yeah, they,
And so somebody was saying earlier that the reason why they're mad at Mrs. Pearly because she's doing better than they are at black issues. Yes, that's true, and they know that she's going to be procreating with a brother, and so
very
that
shortly.
burns them. Yeah, that burns them, and then plus you add on the pressure of the corny black man, the Michael B. Jordans of the world, the corny black man
Well,
are doing
define
some
what
corny
corny-
shit going overseas. So the corny black
and not
man,
just that, she's going to be a wife. Pearl is going to be a wife. She's not going to have a child until she becomes actually a wife. Somebody's going to marry her.
oh,
And it's gonna be a brother.
It's funny you say that because I was Dennis Brolin was being interviewed by Ches Sade about a couple months ago. I was praying that Mad Bus Driver had a stream, but he didn't have one today. And Dennis Brolin broke down something that, I mean, it kind of threw Ches for a little like someone threw a brick in her face. Like her eyes just bucked open. He said, look, two things going to happen. Okay? He said, you're going to have some brothers are going to move overseas and don't come back. All right? He said, then he said, you're going to have a small percentage who are going to go overseas, bring their wife back, but eventually they're going to leave once they get their stuff together. Their wife's going to come back with them. They're going to have a game plan. They're going to build the stuff, and they're going to be out. But while they're here, okay, they're going to have kids. You're going to see their kids, but especially their sons. They're not going to let your sons date your daughters. And when he said that, it's like someone threw a brick in Chad's face. Her eyes just bucked open. It took a minute. Like it took a minute. To
but
process it.
isn't this chick supposed to be the one that's supposed to be for you versus the other one is Courtney Michelle is supposed to be against your ass?
Yeah, but you still got to remember, Chaz, unsolicited, the security bars. Yeah, those are like quasi chameleons because they know at the end of the day. Okay, I'm not knowing.
They
I'm
cannot
assuming that
compete.
Chaz probably has daughters. Unsolicited, like she probably got granddaughters, and they know that if these women come back and they got children and they got boys, their granddaughters won't have access to those boys.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's facts. Especially if both the mom and the dad tell them, hey, we give you a passport so you go abroad. We not wanting you to come and try to breed and bring children here. We want you to go abroad and spread it back and then come back.
Exactly. So therefore, okay, if dude comes back with a Colombian wife, maybe he can come back with a Colombian wife. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and what I think, Brother Stone said some dudes tell their daughters, so the mama is telling them that, look, your father tried to get away from this culture. Don't bring home no Black American female. If you want a sister, we'll drop you back off in Colombia to go get one.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And when he said that, you know what I'm saying, it's like her eyes bucked open. And you can tell, oh, snap. Yeah, your daughters aren't going to have access to these boys.
No.
Yes, because they're going to raise their kids. They're going to raise their kids with respect. And a lot of these boys are going to see that I don't want to mess with a girl that is behaving like a hood rat because their mama doesn't behave like that. And they're not going and they're gonna start, because you're already seeing it. They're gonna start only messing with each other, who represents what they grew up with, and it won't be because it won't be an affinity towards the black community just because your ass is black. You're gonna have to compete. It's gonna be
Competition.
who's
Fierce
yes, it's
competition.
gonna be who's on my social level.
That's right.
Yeah,
And
They set themselves up, NBD, to become the perpetuate, permanent underclass of women. They allow themselves to become that way.
and look, man, it's funny you say that, man, because I forgot who said this. He said, God, who said it? But he said black women are facing a war. ABWs are facing a war on all fronts now, because now
Yes.
you got Arab chicks. You got an Arab chick go on YouTube and say, "Look, I recommend Arab. If you're an Arab woman, straight up. She said, please look at Dane the Black Man." I'm like,
I remember that video.
Yo, then you got an Ethiopian chick. Yeah, she said, I also recommend dating black men. And it's like now you got Indian chicks moving in. Like you had an Indian chick on IG who took her black boyfriend to her father, and he said, because he knew him, he's like, and the brother said it felt refreshing to ask a father for his daughter's hand in marriage. And the Indian guy gave the brother his look. You have my blessing to marry my daughter.
I think I saw that one.
Yeah.
So here goes the thing, but you got to understand also too. So this is your girl Adele, right? So
Yeah.
let's talk about
She lost a lot of
Hollywood.
weight.
Yeah, she's good.
Listen,
Damn.
let's talk about Hollywood a tad bit. Even these old broads, before they want to tap out, they're trying to get a piece of a brother. Cher, her old ass is trying to
She's
get
like 75, 78 years old.
75.
Listen, that shit's crazy, right? So old ass Cher is trying to get some, BBC before she taps out. Right? So your girl Madonna, she's always back and forth with the BBC.
Yeah.
Avril Lavigne apparently now's rolling around with Tyga.
Yeah,
Right?
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
I mean, god damn. So it's like, Brothers is running the gambit over there on Hollywood. It's people like that Avril Lavigne shit. People didn't see that one coming, but they thought because Kanye West and Kim Kardashian break up. Oh, somebody in the background is body slamming some shit.
Oh, sorry about that.
Okay, so they were saying that because of what happened to Kanye. Yeah, Chris Rock. Chris Rock was with that white chick.
He still is.
They're saying Andre 3000's married a Chinese or Asian chick.
Yes, he did.
Your boy Eddie Griffin. He had a kid by an Asian chick just a few years ago.
Right.
There's Brothers is seriously moving.
Hey, but these Arab
in
chicks,
Hollywood.
especially these Arab chicks, like these Arab American chicks are moving in on the brothers too.
Yeah, so check it out. So apparently, what's the ethnicity of Lazara? What's the name? Lazara Pippen. Is she Arab?
Yeah, no, she's Hispanic. She's Hispanic.
Hispanic, yeah.
Okay, so
Now-
But I think she's
That-
Venezuelan descent, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Hey, brother
Venezuela.
NBD. I just want to point out Bill Gates' youngest daughter.
Yeah,
Right.
with a bro.
Yeah, as with a black dude, and that's causing a lot of stir because obviously of who her dad is. But she's vigorously defending it now. I still think she's a clout chasing, social media clout chasing, but she's rolling hard for him. Saying this is the dude.
Yes, and what's it called? The former governor of South Carolina, Nikki Haley.
Yeah. She got a
daughter.
nerve.
Her daughter's marrying a black man. So
Yes. Yes.
it's just wide open for you, brothers. It's going to be going from class to race. We're probably already over there. From class to race.
What? Hold on. I saw some numbers a while back. They said projected. Yeah, race. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, you're right. Race to class. Sorry. Race to class. That's what it is. So what's going on? Yeah. So it's going to be no longer just based off your skin tone and all that shit. It's going to be your class status. And if you're going to, I hate to do it, but I'm going to have to say it. if you're a brother that's a thinking brother, and you're gonna waste your seed reinvesting in the Scraggle Dagger, you're gonna reinvest in it because that's the community. The community is the Scraggle. The
Say it
Scraggle is the
again.
community.
Say it again.
The community is the Scraggle. The Scraggle is the community. They even done panel billboards or advertisement for it. You know, for like the chicks that used to be on MSNBC, the Black Chick Tamara Hall, whatever it is. She you know, they telling you we are the community now. So they are the community. Then that means if you invest in that, you are investing in the community, which is a failing enterprise. And no matter how much these dudes that think they're sophisticated and they're high class, they got money, they're multimillionaires, and they're doing YouTube videos, marketing this shit, trying to think that they're going to save this said community, they got another thing coming. These ladies do not want to be saved.
Nope.
No, look, hey, look, man, look, it's like this, man, and I think, you know what I'm saying, Pablo Frescobar said this on the show a couple weeks ago. He said you're gonna have to let it burn. There's no, and see the reason why these guys don't want to let it burn, because I saw a dude on YouTube, man. I know I'm for y'all believe, man, but I don't want it to burn because it's gonna be casualties. Well, in any war, you're gonna have casualties. It's gonna have to burn because for something new to come out of it's got to rise like the phoenix. The phoenix is a mythical bird that it burns itself out, but is reborn out the ashes. You know what I'm saying? And for you to have a new community that is functional and stuff, the old everything has to burn. You know what I'm saying? And you can't save it, but everybody wants to save it because they're trying to save their mama. That's
what it is. It is that it's their mama. It's the core of everything because they can't separate their mama from that chick, and they want to save their mama. And I understand that, but you got to get past that shit. You got to get out of your mama's house. You got to go to the man's house, right? You got to start thinking that it's like this shit is done.
Yeah, the plus two. You got these ABWs. Yeah, man, you got these ABWs now starting to attack women with freaking biracial kids. They starting to lash out now.
One tried to run my child over. Yes, one tried to run my child over at the zoo. My little
Are you serious, MBD?
Yes, I'm not bullshitting you. Yes.
Wow. I've never heard you say that in all these years, brother.
No, because I did an interview with SKC, SKC channel. He was doing an interview and he was asking me questions like, "Who hurt you?" And I was telling him it's the community and shit. Yeah, a lady tried to take her stroller with her I'm not gonna even disrespect the kid that was in it. And as we were walking, I'm holding my oldest child, hand, my daughter. The broad runs up with her stroller, walking with another, Scraggle, and tried to run my kid over with the stroller. And my kid, because you know how the NASCAR, they call it that guy the Intimidator, Dale Earnhardt. He runs up your tailgate, they ride your ass. They ride your ass and shit, right? So the broad was riding the heels of my kid. And, she's tugging on me, I'm looking over, and I see this chick who has a stroller right up to the back of my child's feet, like she's trying to run my kid over. So I had to pull the family over, go over here in the corner. I'm like, I'm shocked and shit. This is well before I, started the channel and shit. I'm like, why would this lady do some shit like that, right? Why would this lady do some shit like that, right? Because I'm trying to figure out why would she do some shit like that. Now, all I can think of, she seen my wife, she didn't like that. My kid was cute. Her kid looked like King Kong. I was like, maybe, that's what it has to be. And it confirmed it later is when I was down, there's this a food court area. So you go down to the food court and this broad was there, and I'm walking by and she looking me dead in the eye. Like she wanted to let me know that was her. That's what the shit that she done did.
But you gotta understand the breakdown, MBD. You know what I'm saying? And Dennis Burling kind of broke it down lovely. He said the reason why she's upset with you and your kids is because you're not part of the retirement plan. See, from her
That's right.
so in the 20s and stuff, her 20s and her early 30s, she can swirl, go play with Pookie and Ray Ray, get ran through, have a couple kids. But Mav, once she grab her retirement plan, Mad Bus Driver is supposed to be there at the end of the pipeline for the retirement plan. But see,
With that retirement pipe.
yeah, and see, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You ain't there. You know what I'm saying? You ain't there. You got your wife, your kids, and you doing your thing. It's like good example. There's a brother on YouTube, Fat Boy. All right, you know what I'm saying? And he is over in the Philippines. You know what I'm saying? He works here as a tech. He makes about $200K a year. Brother smart, be a fat boy. And dude got him a fine Filipino chick. So on the Filipino chick is about to come back over here with him. You know what I'm saying? And she holding him down in the Philippines. Make a long story short, man. So they went public with their relationship on YouTube. I mean, she all in tears because she about to get married to the dude. She loved this fat boy. He a fat boy, and she loved this dude. And they can hate comments, hate email, and it's all ABWs because that fat boy is supposed to be at the end of the retirement plan. You know what I'm saying? Once they get ran through with a couple kids. Now, when they get to that pipeline into that retirement plan, he's not there no more. Mad Bus Driver's not there. And there's no one there and they're angry.
Yes,
Yeah, that's why she
If you
attacked you.
a video came out this past December, January. It was about a white chick in a Waffle House where a fight broke out. Now, the video is actually a year old, meaning it came out around December of 2021, but it actually was released this past December. And it was a fight, I want to say somewhere in Texas, a Texas Waffle House, where this white chick, these boonquishas, these fat boon, I can't believe they were able to even get up on the counter. You know, it's Waffle House. You've seen the videos. And they were short-staffed, and the white chick just wasn't having it anymore. She was, they were running her ragged, and, yap, 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 long story short, they started throwing things and coming over the counter, and she was throwing haymakers. She grabbed, she just wasn't taking it anymore. In fact, it went so viral that the white chick was on Tucker Carlson a couple of months ago. And it turns out, and she's now got merch. She's now, you know what I mean? She's doing her thing. They call her Waffle House Wendy.
Yeah, I saw that.
She went on Tucker, and she's been banned from working at every Waffle House. Now, the reason why I bring her up is, number one, she's got a child from a brother who's in the Air Force. And number two, one of the things that she said is I got tired of the abuse, and she was trying to walk a minefield. She didn't want to call them boonquishas, but she was like, so I started learning how to box and learning how to fight. Brothers, if when you're with your white or non-black women, teach these women how to throw hands, because this is the only way that these boonquishas are going to learn. And I still believe that a woman can learn how to moderately defend herself and still be feminine. I recommend you teaching your woman to throw hands. And that's how Waffle House Wendy, and of course she caught the chair. Y'all should see the video. It was crazy. They got her doing it to the Avengers music. She caught that chair like Captain America caught Thor's hammer. But she was just throwing bows, and she was like, I started learning how to box, started taking MMA and all that other stuff. And she was, and you can see the video, she was doing the pound cake. She was like, I'm not scared of y'all. I'm not scared of y'all. And that's what you're going to have to teach, your feminine woman. Go watch the videos, man. They exactly. If they're out taking jujitsu, MMA, whatever, those are the Beckys, or whatever that you want, because that's the only way. Because you can't be everywhere with them at all times, and they got to learn how to throw hands.
Right. And as your boy Commando Spawn, thanks for the $5. Exactly. Some of y'all brothers, depending on where you're at, you're gonna need to get, the heat. You need to
Yes,
get the hammer.
that's of course. That absolutely. Get that permit. Get that. Yeah.
Let me tell you another story on why you need to get the hammer. All right. Okay, so MBD is with the wifey. So the wifey goes to the store. You know, he's got the family in the car. The wifey goes to the store because she does business and she's got to make a deposit at the ATM. So she's got to put something in the ATM for the business and shit. Knickknacks, knuckleheads in there because where we live at is a large Hispanic population. And so this was at the time when the dumbasses thought, well, you know, the stereotype is the Hispanic women or Hispanic people in general don't have bank accounts. And so they carry cash. So they mistakenly think my wife is one of them, a Hispanic woman, because when you see her, you may not know where she's from, right? Let's just say that, so we won't get into my business. And so that's what they thought. They thought she was, you know, Mexican, or they thought she was from, you know, South America, because that's what she looks like. And so, you know, they follow us home and shit, right? So they didn't see me in the car. They follow us home and shit. So we get to the house, and before I can get out the car, these motherfuckers run up on me, and they tell the wife to give me the money and shit. Give me the money, right? So I'm fresh out of the corrections academy and shit, right? You know, I dip around the corner, and I'm like, what the hell's going on, right? And so homie runs up with his hands underneath his shirt, like, yo, give me the money, give me the money. And I knew exactly he ain't got no damn gun. So I start swinging his shit. And his homie in the back, who was taller, I guess he started trying to, you know, swing on me, right? But I didn't feel him. He was hitting me, I guess, in the back of the head because I was focused on the dreaded piece of shit that was in front of me and shit, right? So now I'm out here in the streets. I hate that motherfucker. Now I was out here in the streets fighting with this dude, right? Because he said, you want to box? You want to fight? You want to fight? So now we out here throwing hands in the middle of the street at night, right? Like 9 o'clock, something at night. I got my daughter in the car. My other daughter's in the house. My mom is over babysitting that kid. You know, my youngest in the house. So she comes out the door while we out here scrapping in the streets. And of course, because it's Big Mama, it's a black woman. The black woman says, what you doing? Get from here. These motherfuckers scatter like water bugs.
Oh my God.
Hey,
So,
look,
check this shit. So the shit's real. So the cops come, we go do all this motherfucking drama. You know, I'm hot, right? I'm hot. Because I got the gun in the house. But it's in the house. I left it in the house. Right? So, you know, I'm like, I'm going to see these motherfuckers again. I'm going to see these motherfuckers again. My mind was focused. I just knew the universe was going to align. I'm going to see these dumbasses again, right? Mm-hmm. Sure enough, the very next day, we were talking to the police. You know, you might want to go check, you know, at the convenience store to see if we got them on camera, some shit. So we go over there. We get access to the back. We get access to the cameras and shit. We watching the tape. I'm walking out. I'm carrying my little one. I'm standing. I'm thinking, would it be so funny if these dumbasses pull up, right? It'd be so funny if these dumbasses pull up at the same convenience store. Guess what? Dumbasses pull up at the same convenience store. They park at the gas station. They get out. I see these guys because they're wearing the same shit they wore yesterday, stankin' clothes they were wearing yesterday. These dumbasses come in. They don't recognize me from the night before. So I take the little one to the back. I tell the wife, yo, these bozos is out here. Call the police, right? I see these guys. They're going to get hot dogs. They're going to get slushies and shit, right? The cops come up, pick their ass up. I come out, yeah, you remember me and shit? Right, so I had to go through courts, and of course, you know who's there to say their baby, oh, my baby, the BWs. The BWs, you know what the BWs were mad at? More so than their son trying to assault us? The BW was pissed off that after the son had to plead guilty, as I was leaving, I look at the BW with a disgust, disdain in my face for what happened, because that's your son, that piece of shit, right? She was upset that I looked at her like that. So this broad comes down. I see this broad outside because we're waiting on it. what they call it, recess and shit, right? So I see this. She's out there. She comes to me, and she states, "Oh, I know you was looking at me all, don't blame me," or some shit like that. The local scraggle daggle talk and shit. So this broad was, just going at it, talking about how she didn't raise him, how bad it was going to be for him because he's going to get a felony and shit, and how it's going to affect his whole life. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is he? I didn't really want to talk to the chick, right? Do you think this man changed his life? No. He continues to do the shit day to day. I mean, he's got even more felonies now than he did about 10, 12 years ago and shit. This is why, yeah, you need to protect your neck. Y'all black men out there need to protect your neck when you're walking the streets hand to hand with your Kylie Jenner. If you walk with a Kylie Jenner, you need to protect your neck.
Hey, because I'm moving out to the burbs. Like right now, I'm waiting. About to work on getting my new spot. I'm about to move out to the suburbs, but according to Umi Zumi, cats like you, me, GW, the brother on here, we are the problem in the community because we take our resources and move out to the suburbs and say the hell with the community. We go out to the burbs. According to Umar Johnson, we are the problem in the black community. The working class black man and the middle class freaking white collar black man is the problem. Because when he leaves, he doesn't come back.
Why would we want to come back? Why the hell would we want to come back?
I left years ago. The only reason why I still mention them is because their fuckery, unfortunately, still sometimes has an adverse effect on the rest of us, and that's what we fail to realize.
Yeah, but see, I'm telling you, man, this is going to get worse. I mean, the brother MOT said this a while back. They're going to start lashing out because as that pool of men is already shrinking, as it really starts to shrink, and they don't have access to the, as they call the non-select brothers for the retirement program. Hey man, it's about to be real ugly. I mean, yeah, one thing about Maverick, he right. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you protect your neck because why get these Keishas, these Pookies and stuff, they know you leaving. The system is crashing around them. They're the most evicted. And Pookie's mad because there's no one here to take care of his kids. I mean, he got to start taking care of his kids and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to start lashing out because they're going to see you like, I think Matt Butler, I think you said it wild in one of your videos. It's going to be, at first I didn't agree with it, but now since they progressed, I totally agree with it now. You're going to have the traditional community and Blackish.
Yes, that's exactly what you're going to have. Yeah, that's exactly what's going to be.
Well, actually, it's been that way for a little while. It's been that way for a little while now.
No,
but the problem is the Blackish community from the past used to all try to say that they were a part of the black community as a totality.
Yeah,
soon
like Steph Curry.
Going to be right. Soon it's just going to be like, nah, that's not us. Soon they're just going to have to say that is the trash. And we are the class. That's over them. That's them folks. That's not us. Because what's going to happen is you're not going to all of this right now. What you're dealing with is a PC woke whole agenda where it says that a female who's white or Asian is going to have to refer to her children that she has with a black man as black. Soon that's going to go out the window, and they're going to say, because that's how I'm raising my kids. I'm saying no. You're mixed. You got different heritage. You're not black. So that's how I'm raising my kids. I tell my kids, do not try to associate yourself just off the strength of a skin color that your ass is considered black and shit.
Which is exactly why they keep pushing Colin Kaepernick. Listen, Colin Kaepernick has lived a life that most white people wish they could live, let alone black people, but they keep using that guy as a puppet, and he's too dumb to realize it. I really think he's an MK Ultra asset, but that's another discussion for another time. But he truly is a puppet psyop. They keep pushing him to be this pro-black Malcolm X. When he was raised, he could not have asked. That dude hit the damn lottery when his white mother gave him up for adoption. He hit the lottery. The dude actually was better at baseball than he was football. And now he tries to go back and claim that the only reason why he chose football is because there was more blacks in football than there was baseball.
When they you gotta understand what the problem is with Colin Kaepernick. You know what I'm saying? And Jason Whitlock he did a great segment.
Watch his show daily.
Yeah, he broke it down. He said and he lumped Colin Kaepernick in the same category with the Shannon Sharpe and these guys. Okay, even though Shannon Sharpe is a black man, the Shannon Sharpe dates he dates exclusively Snow Bunny. But
exactly, but talks pro-black. Pro-black.
But as Whitlock was sitting there, he was breaking it down. He was sitting with Clay Travis, broke it down. He said that these guys have not reconciled that they have found someone that they're compatible with. You know what I'm saying? Now Shannon will say, it's all about finding someone that makes you happy. Then he'll go on TV and he'll go hardcore because deep down Shannon has not reconciled. Okay, Colin Kaepernick is dating a girl named Tessa. She's Egyptian. She's a dark-skinned Egyptian. She's a dark-skinned Egyptian girl who herself wants to be accepted by the community. So therefore, she goes hard. You know what I'm saying? Because I just don't know what I'm saying. Because if
she's not doing it because she wants to be accepted by the, she don't give a damn about the community. She's doing it because she's an asset. Arabs don't want to have anything to do with our black. They don't want anything to do with the community.
Time out. Okay, she doesn't call her now. She calls herself black. Now, reason why she does that. Now, if you guys go look at the federal registry, you know what I'm saying? No, I know what I'm saying. If you're from North Africa, you're classified as white. Even though she is a melanated Egyptian, she's classified as white. You know what I'm saying? And she said herself in an interview that it bothered her because she looked in the mirror, she didn't see a white person, but she always felt black. Now you got to remember too, you got to remember now the pressures and the brother, I agree with you what you said, but you also got to remember what Matt Butler was saying. These people. They feel the pressures of the community. A good example is Naomi Osaka. Naomi Osaka felt the pressures of the community, and and she just gave up.
She caved.
Yeah, she caved. Same with Nessa. Okay.
Let me just interject real quick.
Nessa said herself. She didn't feel like she was part of the black community, so therefore psychologically, that's why she goes so ham for it. She go hard because she felt the pressure of the community. And I agree with Mad Bus Driver. That's why he's not raising his kids to succumb to the pressure.
Well, it's not that they caved. Honestly, again, they are there to push a narrative and an agenda. It's not that they caved.
No, brother. Some of them caved. Now, I do agree with you about a narrative. Now, it could be that with Colin Kaepernick. He might be.
Oh, it's definitely like that with Colin Kaepernick.
But brother, a lot of them caved. You know what I'm saying? They caved to the pressure to accept it. To accept the black culture.
No. What you feel? Hold on. Just give me a chance here. They're not caving to, and if they are caving to anything, they're caving to the white handlers. Listen, the community still answers to the white liberal slave masters. They really do. And so it's not about them caving to the community. The community is being used by white liberals. So it looks like they are caving to them, but they're really not. I
gotta push back on that a little bit. I watched a CNN.
Let me finish, please.
Go ahead.
They're being used. Colin Kaepernick is being used. His girlfriend is definitely being used. Naomi Osaka pretty much was raised in Japan.
No, she raised in Haiti. She raised in Haiti. She's raised in Haiti,
but she spent a lot of time. She did spend time in Japan.
No. Her mother's family disowned her her mother because her mother married a black man. She
Yes,
said
I
something in
know.
the interview. Yeah, she said in the interview, I was raised in a Haitian household. She can't even speak Japanese. She said, but she does speak French Haitian.
Well, was
So
she
she said,
not? Was she not a part of the Japanese Olympic team?
yeah, but that was recently
I mean,
that she decided to go back and embrace her Japanese heritage for the sake of money purposes because she was going to get more endorsements from Japan. But her mother's family disowned her mother when she married that black dude from Haiti. Her
okay,
mother's family cut her off. Yeah, they cut her off.
Well,
Yeah,
those times are changing, brothers. Those times are changing
exactly.
indeed. Because as you know, what's going on in Japan with the Miss Japanese,
yeah, I saw that.
multiple years, not exactly in a row, but several years. Recently you have your Malaysian Miss Japanese. You got
Yep.
your Osaka, whatever it is. Those two girls are playing, tennis that are
Yeah.
high profile. So
Yeah.
what's going to happen is those other women who see that are going to be like, okay, if we want a child as good as in these fields, an athlete, that's a way to go. If we want beauty that'll have a beauty that'll stick out, that's the way to go. You don't have to go white. You could go
black.
chocolate, right?
Hey, man, Bus Robbie, you got a point on that. There's a brother on YouTube called Passport OG, and right now he's currently in Japan, and he said this. He said the reason why a lot of these Japanese women are going after brothers is because this Japanese woman back in the 80s, you know what I'm saying? She wrote a book, but she wrote it in Japanese because she didn't put it in English because she didn't want to get the backlash. So she put it in Japanese. And she talked about her experience being married to a black man for almost 20 some odd years before he passed away. And she put it in a book form. And that book became like a cult, but it became like an underground popular book amongst Japanese women. And these women read, and she talked about how the vigor, how romantic a black man is. How he loves his mother, and I mean, she put all that into the book. And he said that's why when a lot of these brothers, that's why you see a heavy melanated population growing in Japan because these women have read that book and they are pursuing brothers like you put out with vigor.
Yes. So people want to know the name of that book. That's what these brothers are looking for. Xanatos is in Japan himself right now. You still out there in Japan? Yeah, you just came from Japan, Osaka and Western.
Yeah,
it's better than Tokyo.
It was on Passport OG channel. I forgot the name of the book, but he did give the name of it, and he said it's an underground, like I want to say like a pulp classic amongst a lot of Japanese women.
Okay, so yes, you sent a link. I sent a link to Big Truck Series. Okay. It's a lot of brothers moving heavy in Japan. There was this one Japanese lady. I should have got the quote a long time ago. She posted that she tells her friends and other Asian ladies to get with the brothers on some, on some sexual prowess type shit because you'll get filled up. She said she tells them they get stretched in a way that
stop, man.
That's what she. I'm gonna look for it. I'm gonna look for it. That's what she said. She said it was like a revelation. So she says where because he says she tells these ladies to do that and they do it, and it'd be like a revelation because the brother reaches places that have been reached before. No lie, no cap on that. No cap on that. I gotta get it. I have to go back and find it.
You're right because that's what Passport OG said was in that book. They said the Japanese chick said her husband when he passed away, she said she's never experienced. He's basically the pleasure in the bedroom was everything she wanted 10 times. 10 times. I'm like, wow. Hey, but I think the thing that we got to kind of, and that's why I love about SYSBM. SYSBM has the tenets, man. the tenets and the books are the foundation, man. Now I know King Sigma just came up with some tenets for Passport Bro, and I also know that Passport Bro is trademark and copyright. But look, I'm telling you, man, this thing. I mean, you got brothers in Romania, you got brothers in Eastern Europe, Croatia. I mean, and look, I mean, you got brothers in Fiji now. Brothers that made their way out to Fiji. So, I mean, it's, you know what I'm saying? Hey.
Right, yeah. Yo, what's up, Game Changer? You know,
Game
what's going on with you,
Changer.
brother?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? What's going on?
Man, what you think? How long have you been listening to the stream?
I was on another panel, so I was in and out, but so really I just got like the last 30 seconds. I want to comment on the whole sexual prowess, and especially that the Asian women do look forward to the size. And yeah, I have experienced that. Go for it.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, I have experienced that in the Philippines. However, it didn't really yield anything. It was more just like a touch curiosity, like, you know, oh, let me touch it. But, you know, they didn't stuff it in any holes or anything like that. They just like, okay, I'm curious about it. And, you know, but it didn't go that far. But furthermore, I do want to say that that does exist, but I don't take women like that seriously, because to me, like, say you go to Japan and you find a woman who's just into the BBC, she's really in that Western mindset, you know, because she looks at sex as something, as pleasure received, not pleasure given, and you are a sexual object. I don't want to like, you get those relationships here in the States. I want the women to understand that they are the sexual object. They are to please me. It's great that a BBC can please you in the process, but understand that the primary goal of this endeavor is to please me.
Right, but so she's for the traveling Pookie. So you just send her to the traveling Pookie and let him open up that market, and you find the one that you're looking for. I mean,
not before you had your fun.
Yeah,
not before you had your, you know.
Hold on, man. Hold on, I mean, man, you said traveling Pookie. You said
it's a traveling Pookie. He's the super dick slanger, right? So you got your traveling Pookie. So if you don't want to mess with them type of chicks, you know, and you're rolling with your crew out there, you know, you have one of those traveling Pookie types. So you send his ass over there to open up that market, so you don't have to do that. I mean, you got to, you know, your brother's going to have to start doing that, thinking strategic like that, like you do here in the States. You know how you got the guy that's supposed to be the man to take one for the team and shit, and you got the guy that's, you know, the pretty boy. You got the dude with the muscles.
Yeah,
that's how you're gonna have to start thinking. You're gonna have to start squadding up like that. But yeah, a game changer. What do you think about the whole drama with the whole Passport Bro thing?
What's the drama in particular? Because there's always drama.
Like, yes, I know it's always
ever since
drama.
I bought a stove. There's been drama about.
Yes, of course. Yeah, the whole stove gate. Yes, all of that shit. But I mean, as in for other groups of people trying to say they're Passport Bros and they're not Black brothers. You know, what do you think about that?
I don't know, because I don't know how it started. I mean, you know, I'm not necessarily a part of that organization, so I don't know like what's the foundation or who can claim it or who can't. I do hear some Passport Bros saying that it's not a Black thing. Others are saying that it is. So, you know,
yes, but for everything that I've seen for her Passport Bro, it was a Black man Passport Bro, a Black man with a passport. And that's what King Sigma was saying, how it started with Passport Gate. And so from there, King Sigma was saying that how, you know, they did live streams and they were doing shows and stuff like that. And it just morphed into the whole Passport Bro thing. So it was discussion between Black men who are traveling overseas or who got their passport. It was a dialogue between Black men, and that meme exploded into the hashtag, the whole Passport Bro hashtag. So it was started for Black men, specifically for Black men.
Yeah, because I know the brother from Passport Podcast. He did say that you know what I'm saying, he trademarked that and everything. So it is protected.
So the brother that trademarked it, is he the guy that's over? Is he the guy that's over in the Philippines? or
I don't know.
Thailand or whatever it is?
I don't. He was on the stream with me and Pablo because I said because I brought up SYSBM. I said, look, I hope this slogan is trademark and copyright the SYSBM. And Pablo said, no, I don't think I trademarked it, but the brother on the name Passport Podcast, you know what I'm saying? He said he did trademark it. You know what I'm saying? Because he said he didn't want to see the same thing happen to the Black Manosphere. You know what I'm saying? That phrase. But he said he trademarked it under entertainment. He didn't trademark it under something, but he trademarked it under entertainment so it could stay protected like SYSBM was.
Right. That's good. That's good. I mean, they're on that. That's good. Okay, so
Well, I'm be honest. I don't like it if it happened how you guys described. I white people, and this comes from being in California in the 90s and stuff like that. They do tend to take a lot of the things that we say and do, and then make it their own. I'll never forget, because Black people used to do the fist bump, which was top bottom,
right.
And then I'll never forget when a white dude did that. I was like, I don't mind you doing the fist bump, but then they did the third one, which is like I was like, wait, what the hell is this? And I pulled my hand back, like, no, I don't do that. Like, don't take the thing that we do and add a third step to it, because now white dudes call themselves bro, and typically that used to be a solely Black thing because we called each other's brothers, and bro is just like a abbreviation of that. Now it's commonly used as a white thing. Hey, what's up, bro? Yeah. So yeah, that does get annoying, and yeah, Passport Bros do have that slight cultural appropriation problem.
Yes, because they're going to have to answer for the crazy ass white boy that wants to fool around with them young kids. You're going to have to answer for that. You're going to have to answer for the crazy ass dudes from whatever group that puts his hands on the ladies when they're overseas. You're going to have to answer for that. You're going to have to answer for everybody that takes on the moniker of the Passport Bro. And there's nobody that's a steward of the Passport Bro that says, hey, this is what it is, and this is what it isn't. Not necessarily have to be the leader, but the steward to be able to say, this is what's official, and this is what's not official, because everybody can be a Passport Bro now. And so all it takes is one dumbass to do some dumbass shit, and then now the B-dubs, especially the B-dubs, are going to be showing up, and they're going to be making videos. Oh, I got the tea, honey. And then you're going to get your simps. They're going to be making videos. You guys got the answer for this. That shit's coming.
And you know what? And you're right, because that's the problem I had with. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking Austin. I just and I don't knock what he's doing, but the antics that he did down there in Brazil when he was advised to dial it back and he did it. That's some stuff that what I'm saying. And now I'm glad he's with some guys that can kind of mentor him. But like he was told several times to dial it back because being prior military, they teach you in the military you can't just go into someone else's country and just start start popping off. There's certain etiquettes that you got to perform so that way you can kind of ingratiate yourself in the culture. And that's why I have a problem sometimes with a lot of these young guys. You know what I'm saying? They're hard-headed and they don't like to listen.
Well, I mean, as long as, to me, if you have because you could get one dumbass even within the racial group. It's far less likely because it's less people, but as the organization grows, it's going to grow into getting a dumbass or two. So, I mean, the thing that I would like to see for the Passport Bros is that they have not only a barrier of entry, like fraternities do, but also terms of exit. Like, yeah, this person was this, but because he behaved in this way, he's kicked out. And you see this with fraternities, you see this with gangs, you see this with, any organization of people. They say, listen, yes, you were one of us, but you decided to, okay, for example, 2 of those 5 officers was a part of a Greek organization. They were part of a Black fraternity, a historical Black fraternity. I'm not going to say which one because they acted ass. And they said, listen, this person was part of us. But to make sure that you understand that this person doesn't their actions don't represent ours, we're kicking them out of this organization. You know, I mean, and as long as that exists, you know, like the terms of sustainability, like okay, you are a part of us, but the moment you show your ass, you on your own. You know, you get that burn notice, hey, you know, you're like a spy that get caught. Like, hey, I don't know this fool. Like,
I mean, but it's kind of hard to do that when the organization. I see where you come from, Game Changer. It's kind of hard to do that when the organization is decentralized. I think I think the power, and I agree with you 1,000%. But I think the good thing about Passport Bros and SYSBN, even though we got Mad Bus driving the nights, it's still kind of decentralized because it's kind of hard for them to attack you if you're decentralized. Now, if you got a president, CEO, or all that stuff, you know, people that run organizations, it's easy for them to come after you. But when the organization is decentralized and you still have some structure, I think Passport Bros need structure like SYSBM.
well, yeah, I mean,
Go ahead.
if it's decentralized, then you really don't have that problem. It really don't matter, you know, if you have a jackass that decided to claim to be a part of the decentralized organization, because, you know, let's face it, he's, you know, it's decentralized. Like, you know, they can't really attack it because there's no center of attack. There's no capital, so to speak.
But they'll make that guy the face of it.
So
and that's your thing. They'll make the guy,
like Austin,
because you're not centralized, because you don't have something official. Now, when I say it's centralized versus decentralized, I'm not really speaking of somebody that's that's saying that it's got to not necessarily being a website, a company, somebody that's actively driving it. But you're going to still need to have something that's official that says that this is what it is, this isn't what it is. Because if you have a guy that's an asshole, that's a part of your group, and that guy does some shit, even if it's decentralized, that's going to be the face of your movement. And you won't be able to say it's not because there's nobody officially to say it's not. That's what it is.
Well, no, I mean, so decentralization does have its advantages, but I mean, from what you're telling me, the advantages of it, meaning that, you know, you can't really be attacked from the outside because there's no centralized point of attack. It doesn't seem like that's really working. You know, it's not helping. So perhaps, you know, as I was stating earlier, you know, making it a centralized organization and having, you know, bylaws in terms of entry and things like that, you know, because I'm gonna be honest with you. And this is how I see the Passport Bros. I see this as something that can potentially be spectacular. And this isn't just because I'm a Black man and I'm optimistic for other Black men, individual happiness. Okay, so like when you look at Louisiana and, you know, the Creole population, and we all know how they came about. And it wasn't through Frenchmen mating with slaves. These were free Blacks that chose to do so. These were wealthy French aristocrats with money getting with the beautiful Black women of the time. And, you know, and then generations passed and they continued this process. I wouldn't call it a centralized thing that they did, but they all followed a certain form of seduction that we know as chivalry. And they had a sense of uniformity in exactly how they did things, which the local Louisiana women and and to a lesser extent before the rebellion, the Haitian women that were free embraced. And it was something that sustained for generations. It was a lifestyle that sustained for generations that benefited everybody involved. And, you know, they had generations that proceeded of, you know, high class educated, you know, mixed children, et cetera, that became a result of this. You guys have the ability through maybe not like a power structure or anything like that, or having a president or something like that, but through having certain codes of conducts and bylaws of being that on an international scale. You know, it can go that way. I do see it having that potential, but you're right. Any scandal can have a devastating effect, because what will happen is, you know, that scandal will be played out more so than all of the other positive interactions that people have had. So it is a slippery slope.
Same thing. That's why big view done Truck Series has been laying out, and him and Kate Sigma have been doing some great work. Big Truck Series said, look, man, there's Passport Bros, which are the brothers, and there's Passport Joes, which is the white boys. He said there's two separate groups. Now, he said they fall under the Passport umbrella, but Passport Bros are black men, Passport Joes are white guy, and King Sigma came up with some tenets, on what is a Passport Bro and all that stuff. So it's starting to get there. You know what I'm saying? And also, so shout out to King Sigma. King Sigma definitely has done the work. Big Truck View done it. So it's coming together. It's not where SYSBM is, but it's getting there.
Yeah, and I actually enjoy watching it develop in that way. I do. I enjoy watching it develop. I enjoy watching any organization develop, but just to see how it's developing organically is amazing. It is impressive that brothers are doing this, and especially the rate of growth. I heard that black men have applied for passports this year, more passports this year than they did the past 5 years. I think somebody said that in your chat room. So, that
Shit.
is, yeah.
I mean, they need to put in heavy, because and the wait time is going to be longer, but you need to. So if you're listening to this, you need to plan for that wait time, or pay for it to be expedited through the system.
Also, too, I want to say, if anyone in there in the chat is prior military, yes, your military ID is your passport, but on potential of you getting out, you go ahead and start applying for that passport right now. Yes, your military ID is your passport. It can get you into any country, but at the same time, too, if you're about to get out the military, you need to start applying for your passport now.
Oh, also, thanks, James Wingate, for the $5. He's saying that, yes, I'm on air. And thanks for liking the comic book. You're getting them for your nephews who are SYSBM, and you need a sexy European snow bunny to piss off Umar Johnson. Yes, get them where you want to get them. Don't let folks tell you have to get them from a particular continent, or they prefer you to get them from this, and you prefer you to get them from that. Your ass got a passport. Go where you want to go, because a lot of dudes out here who are advocating for the passport bros are trying to focus and say that one should focus their energy on like South America only, or the Caribbean only, and then by default extension, Southeast Asia. They're not really, they want to avoid Europe and
Asia,
Japan, Asia, East Asia. To find that. We're about to get Xanatos Clutch up in here. What's up, brother? What's up, Xanatos?
Yo, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, good stuff. Yeah, it's been quite a year. Year and a half since being overseas, and it's been interesting to say the very least.
Okay, so I got a question for you. So you was in Japan, right?
Yes.
How long have you been out there in Japan?
For, as I said, a year and a half.
Year and a half. Okay, so you said Osaka or what part of Japan again?
Oh no, so currently I was near Tokyo, like in the Kanto region, Tokyo, Yokohama. What's the other place? Yeah, that area.
Okay, so you can speak from experience out there. How hard it would be for, I guess, I don't know, from your experience, a brother to scoop something up from in Japan?
Oh, that's the first question, huh? All right, cool. So from my understanding, everyone said before COVID, it was awesome. It was cool. It was good all around, but COVID sort of changed things. But
so it slowed down over there.
COVID, apparently.
Yeah, well, I would say COVID and a couple of other things. I'm not going to lie. And this is part of the reason, don't mind me, I'm just like a bit groggy right now because I'm actually somewhere else. But yeah, COVID, and I'm just going to say this, and this is a preface to say that overall, I don't mind passport bros, but a lot of them, in my opinion, move pretty silly. They move pretty silly. They have a lot of this, we all got to get together because we's brothers and we's black, y'all. And I'm not say that they're pro-black, but they sort of want to include everyone, including those who not necessarily are passport Pookies, but adopt the passport Pookieisms or the Magoisms or the matriarchyism. You know, that those kind of blacks, the conventional black, and they want to bring them along. The same kind of blacks who ruined places like Sosua and Medellin and what they're doing now in Pattaya. These are the same kind of passport bros who, let's just say this, they've sort of ruined Tokyo, in my opinion.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm not the one. See, you shouldn't have brought me up here because I'm going to speak that truth. I'm going to speak
you're
something
fine.
that.
Yeah, but tell the
yeah,
truth, man. Tell the truth.
Well, I'll just say this: the amount of white guys I saw with Japanese women versus the amount of black dudes I've seen with Japanese women, particularly desirable looking ones, the gap is pretty wide, in my opinion. I'm talking about just the Tokyo area, the Kanto region, Saitama, Yokohama, all that stuff. Not to say that the brothers weren't winning out there, but it's not as easy as some of these other passport bros or other guys are making it out to be. And I have a feeling a lot of that has to do with a handful of the brothers with passport bro energy that are out there, and the Africans who are claiming they're African American but put on the worst stereotypes of blacks out in Japan.
Oh shit!
Or at least-
Yeah, that's right. Because a lot of African dudes would be over there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are, as I said, a lot of them are looking like bad knockoffs of mediocre Negroes from the 2000s.
It's funny.
And somebody's asking me, do I speak Japanese? Skoshi ohana shimasu, first of all. And second, I've ran into white guys who speak no Japanese, but they seem to have a rotation with no problem. So explain that.
It's funny you say that. It's funny you say that, Xanato, because I know in Russia right now there's a heavy African Caribbean population, and I listened to on a live with this Russian chick interview, and over there, you know what I'm saying, they know the difference between an African and an African American for some reason. She said we know the difference. You know what I'm saying? She said sometimes a lot of those African brothers, no disrespect to them in the chat, but some of them come on there act like they're African American. They're trying to do it like you said, a bad knockoff.
Yeah, but the Japanese, at least the ones in the Tokyo region, they don't know the difference or they act like they don't know the difference. And maybe it's just a thing that the Japanese are a bit more reserved, and it could be me because remember, East Asia is the one part of the world where they're still wearing masks, right? So you can't tell to see if they are checking you out, they're smiling, or if they're shy, because they say the Japanese people in general are a pretty shy group of individuals. But even in that case, I mean, when you got people avoiding sitting next to you on a train until your seats are the last ones, and that's if they sit next to you at all, along with some other microaggressions, you start reading stuff. So visiting Japan, particularly visiting Tokyo and living in Tokyo, are two different things. Would I advise people to visit Tokyo? Absolutely. Living here, however, is a different story. Now, the reason why I said in the chat that Osaka and other parts of Japan are different is because that's when I started noticing that I'm being treated more like an American versus like a black. Like, say, in Tokyo and in the Kanto region, they will not talk to you. They will those stories of, oh, I had this Japanese person talk to me, he asked me blah blah blah, and all this. That stuff doesn't happen in the Tokyo region. And to be fair, that doesn't happen to a lot of people in general because a lot of people here are guarded. They live very lone existences. There is a phenomenon of Japanese people living alone or even dying alone. And I suspect a lot of that is more in the Tokyo region and in eastern and northern Japan than it is in, say, the more south you go. Say, for instance, the popular idiom that we followed in the United States. I mean, granted, it's not as accurate in my opinion as it was back then, but a lot of people say it's a brothers blacks. The more north you go, the less racist it gets. In Japan, in my opinion, it's the opposite.
So down to
So
more, down to Osaka and all of that stuff like that. You'll
Well,
get
if
some
you
more play.
well, if you know about that, that's where all the military bases are too. I got friends stationed out there in
Okay,
Japan.
Mr.
so
What is it? Pirate Brain?
Yeah, how you doing today?
What's going fun? What's going on?
Doing good, man. I finally caught you on a live. I've been watching for years, and finally saw a live. Just wanted to check in. I've been traveling for quite some time. I'm 61, and I lived in Argentina for 7 years, and I was married down there, and I made the fatal mistake of bringing her back to the United States. And, feminism is contagious, so I'm thinking myself about going and do my retirement in the Philippines. Because I'm definitely interested in getting married again.
Interesting. Brother Theo, can you out there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So I'll give some. Hold on. Let me get
Theo, your camera's on.
There he is.
Yeah.
Okay, there I am. All right. I'm going to talk about Japan because I was married to a Japanese woman. I was in Japan 16 years. They can tell the difference between an African and African American, and also a black Englishman. They don't know how to call them. They will say like a dark Englishman. They know the difference between these guys. It just takes a little bit of conversation. They're like, "Oh yeah, we know who you are." It's easy for us to date date Japanese women there, particularly if we speak in the language. It is simple. It is just boom. It's right in there. So you got to work at it. I just want to say to the guy who's talking, I didn't really get into dating Japanese women until the year number 3. From at that point, I was totally fluent in Japanese, and it was easy mode. I knew what to say. I knew how they thought. I knew what to do and not to do and where not to go. There's still the stigma of all the foreigners being together. That's going to be in Roppongi and in Tokyo. But outside of that, like the countryside, those girls want to date black men all the time. They have no problems. They will just look at you and they'll try to date you. They'll make themselves available. So it's there. You just have to take some time in order to figure it out. It's not going to be instantaneous.
So basically, what you're saying is you can't go on some passport poofy stuff. You gotta sit down and learn the language and the culture and ingratiate yourself. And you can't be doing some passport pookieism and think everything's just gonna rain down manna from heaven.
They're used to passport pookies and Roppongi or a military base. They know that's what's there. So they're fine with it. They're like, yeah, we know that. But outside of there, no, they're like, hey, do you have a job? The same requirements for Japanese men. Do you have a job? What do you do? What kind of lifestyle do you have? And they'll actually sit there and talk with you, and then they'll go out with you afterwards. They'll definitely make themselves available to you.
So basically, like just basically prove like my point. You
Yeah.
got to do some work. Got to learn the language, learn the
You gotta-
culture. Got to have some common sense.
Yeah, you got to have some common sense. You got to do some work. But it's by far easier to date a Japanese woman than it is to date a Western woman. That's what I say. It is just simple. It is like on easy mode. Like, again, I have so many people telling me to go back to Tokyo, especially with my salary right now, and to just I'm a permanent resident there. So, like, just go back. I actually know where to date the kind of women that I want to go to. I know my kill zone. It's very easy for me, and I'm just like, not really feeling it. I'm kind of feeling more Brazilian, Ukrainian right now. That's where I actually want to go into. But it is tempting, and again, I'm turning 50 in about 3 weeks. I mean, the women are still there. Like,
It's funny you bring
I can do it.
It's funny you bring up Ukraine, man, because I've been talking to this Ukrainian girl over IG, man. I actually bought a painting of hers, man. She's a very talented. She's a very talented artist. I just bought that from her about 5 months ago, and she sent me a picture of herself. She's very beautiful, but she's a talented painter. She's a talented artist. I got that in my closet. When I move on I'm gonna hang the portrait in my house. She's talented.
Yeah, I like how they act. I like how they do things. So, I mean, I kind of still go back and forth because, with like on a Sunday afternoon, I'm kind of used to having a Japanese woman around, to be honest. But the way I want to go in life with having children and family structure, I'm kind of more with Ukrainian and Brazilian. I like how they act. So there is somebody in my life right now, and I'm highly considering marrying her as soon as I possibly can. So again, it's there. That's what I tell this about Japan. Guys, don't fear Japan. Go ahead and try to do it. It's a very great place, but you can't just walk in. You have to do some work. You're not going to do Duolingo. You're going to be learning kanji. You're going to be learning the alphabet system. There's 4 alphabets. You need to learn them. You need to learn the basic communication. But it's so easy. The women that you get there are so amazing. How many of my guys it's my brothers in Japan who are ex-military, how many of them speak Japanese and are married to a Japanese woman right now? Like almost all of them. They don't want to return back to America. They're there permanently. They don't want to do anything with the West. They're like, I'm done with my military service. I want to get my pension or whatever they get from the military. They work in IT or something else in tech or something like finance or other kind of work in Tokyo, and they don't want to set foot in America ever again.
Man, they done.
They're gone. Yeah, those guys are pure passport bros. I was in Japan 16 years. I only came back to America once I lost my wife. That was it. I was mourning so badly. If I wasn't mourning badly, or if I just had let's say something else, so she was gone, I would have just married another Japanese woman and kept on going. Right? If I wasn't so heartbroken, and I wouldn't have come back to the West. I still look at that as one of the worst decisions I ever made in my entire life was returning back to the United States.
Amen.
So I got a quick question. So
Sure.
You was out there for all that time. Is there, because I keep getting feedback that I'm sure it's like in Osaka and south of Japan, that there's a large population of Afro-Japanese. So did you have a child out there, or did you see a lot of brothers have children?
I saw plenty of brothers have kids. Oh yeah. But they're okay. So as is normal around military bases, yeah, okay, you know what's going on there. So there are some but it's not. It's Afro, like the Blasian kids are a minority compared to the white Japanese abandoned kids. That's the big one.
You said the white Japanese abandoned kids. So there's a lot of abandoned white Japanese kids or half mixed because the military men just bang it and leave.
Yeah, the bang it and leave, right? So I mean, we know where the military bases are. That's where the haves are going to be. So outside of there, the hafu.
Yeah.
Outside of there, I mean, if you have a hafu in Tokyo, her father's there. Her father isn't anywhere. Isn't leaving. She has a family. She has brothers and sisters.
Yeah, matter of fact, one of the top female Japanese rappers is named A-Witch. You know what I'm saying? And she got a baby by a brother.
Yep.
So there's a lot more of golden hafus than the bronze type hafus out there. Obviously.
Yeah.
There's a band called the Golden Hafus in Japan. There was like in the 70s and 80s. It's called the Golden, and they were basically made off of half European, half Japanese, and that was their gimmick. They were mixed hafus, golden hafus.
But I just want to say this point real quick, because I see somebody coming in and saying, "Oh, look at all those hafus out there without fathers and stuff." Look, I just want to say back straight: the American men who make kids in Japan, most of them do not want to make kids in America. They like their women in Japan. They don't want to leave. So most of these Japanese women are very successful in retaining their men. So, sure, it happens, but it's not nearly as much as the stable family structures. I would say maybe 10% are abandoned at most, at very most. Because if you look at all single mothers in Japan, less than 2% of all mothers are single mothers. So we're not talking about a large population. We're not talking about Detroit or south side of Chicago. I'm sure there's probably more single mothers in the South Side of Chicago than all of Japan.
So, Xanatos, what do you say about your experience into what Theo's experienced?
Oh, I would definitely concur with Dio's experience. One overall, for me personally, I'll just say this. Like, I do know Japanese, but I'm far from fluent. But he is more fluent, so no doubt that being more fluent in the language opens you up to better quality of women, even in a place like Tokyo. For me, honestly, this is coming from someone who was working like 50 to 60 hours a week. So learning the language itself was difficult. Well, I'll say this. I know hiragana and katakana for starters. And I could easily conversate in Japanese easily. So that wasn't the difficult part. The difficult part was immersing myself into the overall society. And I will stand with I will defend my point that there are parts of Japan that are easily more how to say this? It's easier to integrate more than others. I would say this in Dear Walk. You can say, correct me if I'm wrong. The Kanto region in eastern Japan is a pretty stiff bunch of individuals. There's a lot of tatemae, a lot of people who stick to themselves or stick to people who really they know, and they don't really venture out to talk with other people, regardless of race. If you're outside of their group or the clique or whatnot, but when you go to places like the Kansai region, with Osaka, Kobe, even Kyoto, you go to Kyushu, Fukuoka, Nagasaki, you go to Okinawa, the people are just more sociable, they're more willing to open up, and they have less prejudices about foreigners, even black foreigners.
But hold on, but Xanatos, man, don't beat yourself up because you haven't learned that. I mean, at least you put the work in. I mean, I've seen YouTube. I've seen dudes in Brazil who've been traveling longer than you have, and cats can't even speak. I mean, are they still using Dad Blast and Google Translate? They ain't putting in the effort. They put up, at least you put the effort in.
Let me comment on this, bro. Because I know what you're going through, and I went through that during my first year, and I had a really hard time. And the girl that I liked was in Kansai, but I was in Kanto, which is Tokyo, and I was actually kind of miserable. And to be honest, I didn't get that connection until I started teaching English in Kanagawa. So I actually that's what I say. People who don't know, Kanagawa is pretty much like south of Tokyo. It's another region, but it's not that far away. 45 minutes or a half hour by a train, you're in Kanagawa. And so what I did was I was teaching English to kids, and those kids, actually kids and housewives, those kids taught me Japanese. I was there to teach English. It didn't matter. They spoke in Japanese the entire time, and I became fluent in Japanese by hearing kids all the time speaking in Japanese in my English class. So it's true, but after that, I was able to say things like very quickly. And then talking to housewives, I got a good idea of what Tokyo was, but where I was and actually how to address the situation. And then from there, tactically, I knew where to go and how to act there, and I integrated. It was very simple at that. So one of my suggestions that I would say to you is, like, I don't know, Tokyo is great for work. You can make a lot of money there. That's where I first started making $250,000 a year. I mean, Tokyo is just great for money. Go to Kanagawa on the weekends if you can. I don't know if you know. If you try it, go to Yokohama. Get out of Tokyo. Do something like that. Go to Kansai, sure. Talk with people, because that's where the warm people are. That's true. But as far as I'm concerned, money's first. So get the money, then get other friends later on, and then you'll be fine. You can't really do that. Like, you go to Kansai, you go to Osaka, and not as much money there. You're not really the man. You can get some money, but but you have a lot of friends. You have some wild engagements with women, but you really can't do the family thing. It's much more difficult to do. You can't finance it.
May I interject something real quick?
Sure.
One thing and you said it, this gentleman down at the bottom said it at the end, that I found, because I've been all through South America, and I lived in Buenos Aires for 7 years. And I know we're talking about two different countries, but I think it's the same in all countries. I think you can't underestimate finding a relationship with the men, because the men will peep you up on game and how to interact, and you'll get it quicker. You're gonna learn, but you'll get it quicker if you got buddies over in the country you go to. Because
I don't know, man, because like I get choosing signals so much while going abroad. I usually don't have to deal with the men that much. I just have to know the language and be speaking and just talk to a few women, get some idea of the land. I mean, I've done that. I was in Russia. I talked to men. But to tell you the truth, when I had my Russian girlfriend, it was pretty much because she locked eyes on me and made herself highly available so that I knew that I had to date her.
Right.
That's the way it was.
Well, you know what? We know what? I've been, when I was in the military, I was more in Europe. I know what H Live said the same thing that the brother said about Latin America with the men, because he did say a lot of the interaction he got was a lot of the men were kind of peeping him on game on where to find the right woman to date. Stay away from this area because saying if you want to figure one night stand, this is a part of the Medellin you go to. If you want to find a nice girl to go out with, you go over here. So there is a balance to it. Now that might be in Latin America where, like the brother said, getting to know the men, it might be to your advantage.
Yeah, I just talk to other expats about that kind of stuff and get a lay of the land first before I go there. I might get some idea from the natives, but usually not. I get some idea. I might ask them for some things like where they get their girlfriend, or where do they think the bad women are, or something like that. Like women I should avoid. That kind of stuff I do, but a lot of times you're just opening your eyes. You can see quite a bit. I mean, if you've traveled, to be like, yep, this area is for the streets. I shouldn't be here. In my social class, I shouldn't be in this neighborhood. I need to get out of here.
And for some of your brothers that aren't traveling, or you don't want to travel, here's an example down here in Columbia, South Carolina. These two, the two ladies sitting in front, those are, I believe they're Filipino ladies. Those kids there are mixed kids. Each lady is with a black man down there. Mm-hmm. And they are part of a group of Filipino women down in Columbia, South Carolina, that run in packs like that. So it could be contagious. So your brothers have options everywhere. Mm-hmm. I mean, everywhere. So there's there they go again. So I mean, it just depends. Hey, so some of you guys be like, oh, I really don't, you're looking at them, you may classify them as a, 4 or 5, something like that.
They might look a 5, but the way they treat you is going to be a 10.
Yeah, the way they treat you is going to be a 10. The way that's what they always get me every time, is the way that I'm treated. I feel so wonderful with them. And the thing is that, like, when I was in Brazil last year, I had grandmothers and mothers who would meet me in stores where I'm shopping, and they would suggest me dating their daughters or their granddaughters. They'd be like, hey, yeah, we know who you are. And what, as one person said, like, I would say, I would go to different places. I didn't want people to think that I was a pervert or something. So I would just say that I was married, right? And so I didn't want anybody to go on to talk with me and say I'm a married man. And as one grandmother said to us, there's no way you're a married man, because it's obvious nobody takes care of you. And I was like, oh my God, like, what? She's like, yeah, I know that. Talk to my daughter. I know.
Women know. I
was like, whoa. And I was like, okay. She's like, yeah, it's obvious you're a respectable man. So like, I actually went on a few dates with her daughter, like her granddaughter. It was wonderful. You get it, but the thing is, what my point is, what I always say is, make sure you're educated, make sure you speak the language to some degree, make sure you're a respectable place of the town, city, make sure your money is right, and that you held yourself in a certain way, and then the rest, the natives take care of that.
I mean, because right now, man, you got a brother that's on YouTube. He dated a chick from Mongolia. So brothers done struck over in Mongolia now. Like it's like I mean,
Yes, Mongolia, Kazakhstan, all of that shit.
I mean,
All of that shit is wide open. Okay, brothers, I would like to say, anybody got last things to say? Because it's time for me to dip on out. So if you got any last words, while I go through a flurry of East Asian girls that y'all brothers seem to like, some slim, some thick. So if y'all brothers got anything last words, let me know.
Let me go ahead and say my last words. Sorry for this, but I'm sure some of you guys know that I teach cloud computing, so that to passport bros, I only teach it to black men, and I do this specifically so that men can be passport bros and make over $100,000 a year remotely. My new class is starting on Tuesday. It's free. You just have to be a black man in the manosphere, and you can't be a simp or anything like that. Or if I think you're too leftist, I won't teach you. But if you're down and you want a way of getting out of the country and you want to go abroad, I'll definitely teach you how to do it. Again, it's free. I don't charge anything. And I have more than enough success stories right now. I have over 10 of my students in other countries right now.
Is that a channel that's going to be on your channel or
it's not
a website, something like that, or what?
It's not a channel. I'll send you a link.
Put the link. Put the link. Put the link in the comment section here so I can I can put it up here for the last. Anybody else got anything to say?
Hey, look, man, I'm gonna get a slide out. Look, brothers, this is a movement. It's a great thing. I'm happy to see. I wish I had kept traveling when I got out of the military and got stationed overseas. But once I got caught up in that pro-black garbage and all that stuff. But I am gonna tell you this. I got my passport about a month ago. Put some final pieces together. This is a good thing, man. I mean, the pendulum is swinging in your behalf, black man. The pendulum is swinging back in your behalf. You know what I'm saying? So take the most of it. Take the challenge. You know what I'm saying? And make it happen. Out.
All right, game changers, Anatol's Clutch. Any of you guys got anything your last words to jump in, or everybody's dipping?
No. I mean, great topic. I appreciate you having me here, and I look forward to coming to future panels.
All right, brother, you got that link?
Yeah, I just put it into the StreamYards.
Okay. Let me hold on. Let me get a copy of that. Yeah, let me get a copy of that.
Yep.
Again,
guys, it's free. I don't charge any money. You have to buy some materials for the class. You go to Amazon or Udemy to go get that. You work together with other black men, and almost everybody in the class is a passport bro.
Well, there you go. It's right there. It's right there. The link is sitting right there down there. If you guys want to get a copy of that, get ready for his class. I'll see if I can check that out too, because I could use to make. I need to make some more money my damn self.
You're rich.
Yeah, I wish I was rich. I'm doing okay, but I'm not rich.
You're rich. You're okay, level man.
We're gonna take a look at the last few photos of gold to give you some inspiration, and I'm gonna be up out of here. Thanks for everybody that's joining and that joined, and that got on the panel, and everybody in the chat. Take a look at a nice ass. You can have that too. Get your passport. You can get out there. You can get that. I'll leave this here for you guys. Oh, snaps. Let me. You can get a shot of that ass before we go. All right.
Yeah. Before we go, so overall, what the Olaf is saying is on point. I will say this. I mean, I may have painted like a crappy picture of Tokyo, the Kanto region, that sort of thing. Not to say that I wasn't struggling, not to say that it was hard, but the majority of Japanese women I got, as I said, were from the southern parts, like Kansai, Kyushu, etc., those parts. So it is doable. Even with little Japanese, it is doable to date out there, enjoy yourself, but just be aware of which part of Japan you're in and how you have to move accordingly.
And with that, yeah.
Join my class, and I'll give you some pointers. I'll tell you I'll definitely help you out.
All right, peace, brothers. Peace.
Peace.